Susan, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pass on that, please.
Oh, okay. Bill?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any public comments at this time? Seeing none? I don't see Chris here yet. Mark, are you ready for?
Sure.
Or would you like to sit down and we'll do the minutes first?
Minutes be fine.
Okay. Okay, we have the draft minutes dated the 28th of March. Are there any comments? Commissioner Babson, you had one comment
No.
that you...
You're talking about the 24th of March, right?
Yes, the meeting, this
Okay.
is the draft dated the 28th, but it's on
Yeah.
the
On
24th.
page 4, down at the very bottom, the subsidy for the town of Ossipee, that's not so. The order department has nothing to do with the town of Ossipee.
Okay. Well,
You could say village of Ossipee,
Okay.
but
we only
Not
got every other page.
Ooh,
what?
Yep, 3,
Okay.
5, 7.
Maybe someone has the email.
11.
I have it.
I have all of them, but this is the 27th, not the
Yeah.
28th.
There's a
Did you get one up here? Did you print it? 'Cause I got mine from up here, I got all of it.
You got, oh, it's double-sided, that's why. These aren't.
Yeah.
Now, I have 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 13, and 11.
Everything, is everything there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm missing. It's
Oh, I have, yeah,
sides.
yeah.
Hello.
Okay,
General, come on, there you go.
all right.
Thank you anyway.
On,
I've got mine.
on
It's a really
page
small start.
4 of the minutes,
That'll be your page 4.
yeah, my page 4,
Do you want to do village?
yes, we want to change that to village.
The last line in that, on that page.
Right.
The village of Ossipee.
For those of us that ran it off,
I ran it off.
it's here. And, okay, were there any other corrections that anyone,
I don't
Yes.
know if she corrected Moltenboro spelled wrong.
okay, where's that?
Well, I have it,
On the west side of
Still
the...
have to pay 25%.
well, I didn't think, you know, excuse me. I don't know, I mean, I printed this, the original off, but
Right.
it's,
What page?
I don't know, because it doesn't have a page number.
Oh,
It's,
about to say it's...
let's see.
It doesn't have a page number.
Well, this, no, it's the one I printed off the internet, I mean, the first draft, it's not even the second draft.
Oh,
But that's the one I read, and then I didn't get the corrected one, so I don't know if you corrected it or not, but mine doesn't have a page number. And then this draft one, I don't have all the pages.
okay, so I'm gonna
The
look. for-
topic was, Representative Umberger asked Ms. Anton to report on the status of
Oh.
discussion regarding the watermarks.
Oh, all right.
Yes, that's page 8.
Is it page eight?
Yeah.
Is Moltenboro still spoken?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, do we spell out the R-O-U-G-H?
well, that's not it, it's, you have it M-O-U-L-T-E-N.
Oh,
It's T-O-N.
oh, all right.
It doesn't matter to me if you do the B-O-R-O.
I'll fix them.
Okay,
Thank
is there
you.
anything else? We certainly don't want Moltenboro spelled wrong.
I don't.
With, may I move, Madam Chairman, to accept the minutes with additions or corrections as noted?
Certainly. Do I have a second? Thank you, Representative Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You don't have to, so I guess I have to oppose.
How
No, I
about,
have to.
how about you abstain?
Sure, I abstain.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to abstain also.
Okay. Okay. Now we will, the farm budget is dated 3/24. That's the one we got on Monday. Did everyone at their seat find a copy of the redone jail, House of Corrections, as well as the revenue? Those are new. Yep. It should be at your seat. Yep. Okay, farm.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have the pleasure of chairing this subcommittee, and with us today from the subcommittee is Representative Ticehurst. We've had some issues with scheduling and getting a full compliance of subcommittee members together, and at the final meeting, when it was just two of us there, we weren't able to reach many conclusions on the budget, and I have so I'm going to bring my suggestions forward to the delegation. In speaking with the commissioners and in speaking, well, first of all, I want to thank Will this morning of taking the time to show the delegation that was able to make it in the weather today. The outbuildings, I'm surprised we didn't have Representative Lavender with us to view our buildings, our equipment, and so forth. So I think some other people have a better feeling for what it is we have out there. As you know, the farm / maintenance, water, sewer is all under the supervision of the maintenance supervisor. And over the years, it hasn't been extremely clear to me where those responsibilities are and where they break out. Commissioners were broke out for me by labor when questioned, and it would appear that 45% of our labor is targeted to maintenance, 29% to the farm, and then water and sewer is the remaining 24%. I believe the way we are doing budgeting or line items here leaves a little be desired, and suggests that we move to new categories for future budgets. I believe that more appropriate listings would be public works, which includes water, sewer, care of grounds and maintenance, and possibly agriculture, which includes hay, wood processing, and fruit and vegetable production. The reason I think the term farm is antiquated and maintenance is antiquated in what we're looking at is the gentlemen perform a certain amount of maintenance, and most of that maintenance is on their vehicles, our vehicles, farm implements and so forth. Maintenance as a function is being processed by either outside contractors or by an individual maintenance person that's housed, one in this building, one in the jail. I know the courthouse has their own, I know that's not our budget, but maintenance is not really a function that this department does, and would suggest that we'd be better served by using the term public works. And public works, I'd suggest, or what I have here is a broad category of infrastructure projects financed and constructed by the government for the greater community. They include public buildings, roads, water supply, sewage, and in our case, care of grounds. This budget description is more appropriate to maintenance. It's not a huge item, but it starts bringing a better identity to what the department is.
Would you like to make a motion to that effect?
Certainly. Make a motion that future account descriptions will be classified under maintenance, or excuse me, will become public works, which will include water, sewer, care of grounds and maintenance, and agriculture, which will have items of hay, wood processing, fruit and vegetable production.
So, do I have a second?
Gardner.
Okay. Representative Lavender, you have a question?
I do. I believe that's in an RSA, it discussing the ability of Ossipee to tax us, that the county farm is specifically mentioned. If we change the name of it, will that mess that up?
I think it's a great question, Representative Lavender. I don't know the answer, but I'm sure if I know one thing about the town of Ossipee, they'll find out how to tax us. But I think it warrants a discussion and to find out.
Thank you. So if
Representative
just,
Dysart?
is this merely a change in title and terms and the way we label line items, or is this a change in policy and function?
If I could, I believe it truly reflects what the business of this department is. There still is a farming component or an agricultural component to this, but I think if you were to use the term farm, most people, well, I'll go, for example, I'll go to our own county website. If I go to our own county website, it breaks out all the departments, but it doesn't break out maintenance as a department. It only breaks out the farm. And if you follow through on the farm, and this is where a lot of people have contact that don't have a chance to come here, when they read those allocations there, you're told that the farm occupies is the number one priority. The website reveals Carroll County Farm has 800 acres, hay fields, harvests firewood, farm produces vegetables, blueberries, use at the nursing home. The farm has other responsibilities it performs along with farming. It does, those responsibilities are outside maintenance, sewer, water, and the county complex. The focus when you're looking into this, into Carroll County, the number one thing you're told is it's the farm, and the farm has these other functions. I have always suggested that those functions are equally important, if not more important, to maintain the buildings and the work that we're doing. So I believe by readdressing what the department is named number one is a cleaner description and still allows to pull out the term agriculture.
May I rephrase my question? I think what I'm trying to find out is if we change the way we categorize or name our line items here, are we then going to be told, oh no, we can't do that function anymore because it's not in this a line item with that name anymore?
I don't believe that's the case. I believe farm, which would now be classified as agriculture, permits all the activities that they have presently to be going forward. It's always the purview of the commissioners to suggest what direction they're going to go in.
Representative White?
I very rarely agree with Representative McCarthy, but I'm agreeing with you on this.
I just think the whole idea of the farm and what it was in the 1800s to the county is a lot different than it is now. I think what you're trying to do reflects all those different functions, and I just think it's progressively the way to go.
Thank you.
Representative Butler?
Thank you. My worry is that in changing the name of the budget department, that it assists in taking us away from the history of what the farm was originally and diminishes its historical importance, and also makes it more possible for us to see it as a less of an important function to the county. I like the idea that we have a county farm. I think that it is a benefit to the county as a whole, and to our history of agriculture. And so I have no problem seeing the other line items under the farm as long as we understand what they are and how they're spent.
Representative Cordelli?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to, just a quick look through the RSAs, and there's one reference that I've found so far to, in relation to annual reports and a report by the superintendent of the county farm. I haven't done a thorough investigation, but that's the only one I see thus far.
And how did you get on to the,
Internet,
yep,
wireless
Yep.
access on my computer?
no password?
No.
Okay.
It's now there.
Excuse me.
Commissioner Sorensen, you had a question?
Public
And
Wi-Fi.
Representative Lavender.
Okay, Representative Lavender?
The RSA is under taxation. The
Commissioner Sorensen?
I think it's a great idea.
Again, I look at this as simply a way to categorize how we budget. I'm not looking to take away anything from anything. And today we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in there. And I think by doing this, then we'll have one that we can work with. So, is there any other comment? Yes, Kathy?
Excuse me for speaking, but the water, you would have that in a public works? It wouldn't be its own entity, like it is own department, like it is now?
For budgeting.
For budget, because right now we have,
Right,
can
that's what
compare
right.
the revenue with the expenditure for water.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Opposed? 3. Motion passes. Okay?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to address revenue before I address expenditures. They tie in, if I could. I'd like to go first to maintenance income, account 7093. And found,
Now we've got a new sheet, Bob.
okay,
It's on page 2.
on page 2, on the, oops, I got expenditure, I'm gonna try to get it to the revenue.
I have it on page 3.
I have it on page
At the top of page 3.
Right, that's because you're looking at the old sheet, not the new one.
Oh, maintenance is on page 3.
Oh, not maintenance income for the farm?
Maintenance income.
Oh, okay, because I have another maintenance income here.
Oh, there's-
Oh, what's underneath?
Okay, we're looking at maintenance income on page 3.
I'm looking at page 3, maintenance income,
Okay.
and I did not have the new sheets at the time. So I'm moving the subcommittee recommendation shown here, line 58, which had previously been at 0 to 35,000, and use of equipment, taking from, shown on the commissioners as 0, line 59, and I had it as 10, we show it as 11 here. So, and the reason for those shifts are, the equipment under 59, that is primarily used by other departments, is equipment that's really the function of maintenance and not the function of farm, the backhoe and other items like that. So, moved from one department over to the other, and the accounting is $46,000, as shown on the sheet.
So your motion is to, under farm income, to reduce maintenance income and use of equipment to 0. Go back one page.
Yeah, I have addressed it in my head, yes.
Okay, and to change maintenance income, lines 58 and 59 to 46,000.
Correct.
Okay.
And on the farm side before, for income, there's also the reduction of use of equipment, line 59 and 58, which gets you over to those numbers.
Okay. Everybody understand what we're doing? We're taking away from the farm income and placing it into maintenance income. Commissioner Babson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think Will has a suggestion for you folks on this line item that has to do with the county.
Okay, you can speak up.
Sure. I don't have a problem with what Representative McConkey's doing. I would just caution that those incomes that you're talking about in the maintenance, you have to make sure that in Howie's budget or Jason's budget or Jerry's budget, that money's there and all adds up to what he's adding in there.
I believe.
We subtracted it in the past, so I'm just cautioning that make sure, because otherwise that's where it comes from.
Right, I believe it does. We have, the only entity that is putting money into, care of grounds was the, nursing home? Is that correct?
I think so.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Representative McConkey, the maintenance income line of 35,000
That's okay.
includes the maintenance income under the farm of 10, and then,
We had to change it back.
And 11.
right, but the 11 comes from use of equipment, so I'm just trying to understand the 35,000, that total.
The 35,000, if I could mention, I believe is the amount of money for care of grounds from nursing home moved out and brought over.
Got it, thank
So
you.
that's the $35,000. And use of equipment came from farm, which was associated with maintenance.
Understood.
So it's 46,000 I had on my list. It's shown as 46,000. I had it shown as 45, but you don't have my numbers, so.
Thank you.
So what's reflected is the recommendation.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Representative Wright? Is there any further discussion? Representative Cordelli?
Thank you. just so I have this, on page 3 on the new sheet then, maintenance income will be $46,000.
That's correct. Okay. Any further questions? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
I think it's unanimous.
Yep, it's unanimous. Okay, Mark.
Thank you. Chairman, moving on to the farm income. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Further question?
I don't know if it's appropriate now, but I had a question related to farm income for wood. Would you rather continue on, or should I
I
ask?
think I might address it for you.
Great,
And
thank you.
if we don't, we can come forward.
Thank you.
Sale of produce, line 053, shown presently, this is what, page 2? Shown presently as $3,500. I believe the nursing home had reduced the produce to be purchased from the farm from $3,500 to $500. We'd already approved their budget, so I'm looking to decrease sale of produce from $3,500 to $500 to reflect that change. Do you want to take questions at the end or beginning? What would you like to do?
Yes, Representative Tyson.
So if I recall right from our discussion, when we discussed this in the nursing home, we were saying, oh, well, we're just going to increase one food item, line item, and decrease what we get from the farm by 500, but that isn't really how they have to keep it at. So are we suggesting then that we're going to sell less food this year?
If I could.
Well, why don't we let Representative Algren answer
Sure.
that question?
Sure.
Since
Thank you.
it's dealing with the nursing
Right.
home?
Well, the amount of expenditure by the nursing home is still the same. They're still going to need the same amount of food. But having that line item with that amount made them feel compelled to spend that much money. They're certainly welcome to spend as much money as they want buying produce from the farm. If you look at the nursing home budget for food, it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they can purchase as much as they would like from the farm. It doesn't stop them from purchasing from the farm. But when we remove that, it was also, on the other side, is we also have to remove the revenue from the farm. That doesn't mean they can't sell it. Doesn't mean they can't be over the projected revenue. They're certainly capable of doing it. The hope is that they actually sell more than $3,500 out of the total $5,000 that they sell to the nursing home.
I understand. So, but what I'm trying to get at is that, okay, so now we're saying that really nothing has to change in the nursing home consumption of farm food. However, we're reducing the farm income from produce to $500. Does that mean that we're expecting that the farm is going to produce less produce and sell less?
Answer that?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Having met with the commissioners on a few occasions here and speaking of their projections, the commissioners continually tell us in the committee that they're conservative in what their projections are. And I know in wood production that we're going to talk about in a minute, a lot of that is geared to what their contracts are coming forward. I would feel that this is an item similar to what they project their income to be. And last year, they sold $3,500 to the nursing home directly for food. Now, the commissioners can only be assured of a $500 purchase. They may have more, but I think it's prudent to change that line item and have them come in next year and tell me that they have an increase in revenue.
Yeah, if you look at the actual dollars on this sheet for 2013, you'll see it's $6,037. Okay, and that was actual dollars, and they budgeted 3,500. Okay,
So we're
so
going,
in truth, we could probably change that to 8,000, or 6, or some other number.
rather than
be-
500.
But they are guaranteed 500, based on what the nursing home has said they will provide.
I
Which is
understand
their
that
only
part. It's-
guaranteed income
It's the
stream.
farm part I'm looking at right
Mhm.
now.
Right,
So
so,
we're saying that we're only going to expect the farm to sell $500 worth of produce this year. And by extension, that means that we're saying that we don't value you putting your time into this, because now that we've changed our food budget to balance between the lines, now we're saying that we don't value that food and we don't want to spend money on that food, and therefore you shouldn't be spending your time on that because it's not producing revenue for us.
Representative Chandler, did you have your hand up?
No, but Ron said, okay. Well, I just think that this means that the nursing home can buy its food wherever it wants to at the best and most competitive price, that's all. If the farm has it, that's fine. If it doesn't, well, they can go get it somewhere else.
Yes, Representative Ogren.
And I believe I concur with Representative Tysers in the sense that the amount, and I guess I just walked in, so I apologize if I'm not quite on point here, but the idea that we need to reduce the revenue to 500, there's nothing to say that the farm can't sell $3,500 by setting up a market, setting up a farm stand, going to the farmer's market down in Wolfboro every Thursday. I mean, they still make very well, and I expect that they probably could achieve the $3,500, seeing as how that last year they sold $6,000 and $3,500 was from the nursing home. That still leaves $2,500. That's only another $1,000. I'm sure they can meet that, or I feel that they should be able to meet it. So perhaps we don't need to lower it based on that alone. They have other places they can sell the food besides the nursing home.
Representative McConkey?
Well, I will go with the pleasure of the delegation, but a note that where the farm in 2011 was at $6,000 for round numbers, $4,000 in 2012, 2013, $6,000 with a guaranteed income stream of $3,500 coming from the nursing home, which apparently would be where the projection came from. I'm open for another number, and it would appear to me that $3,000-4,000 is probably where it is, but the commissioners in the past have not been willing to go there, and I'm willing to see where that number should be, because it will indeed reduce the amount of money that has to be raised.
Representative Tysers, would you like to make a motion or an amendment to the $500
No.
that expresses your feeling on the,
No, because I don't think that this is really indeed a discussion about the dollar figure in here. I feel that this is a policy decision about where the farm is going.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Two things bother me. One, in the budget, we had recommended $3,500. Whether that's conservative or not, I would have hoped that 500 would change back to 3,500. The other thing that bothers me is the word compelling. When you say they're compelled to buy 500, that's true for any item in the budget. We're compelled to go with that. So I don't understand where you're coming from when you say we're compelled to do this. We're compelled for 500. That's the word you used.
Okay, Representative Nelson?
Thank you. Does the farm grow what they want to grow, or do they grow things that the nursing home might want so they could sell more?
Thank you. If I could.
Please.
One of the questions that I'd asked the commissioners and this farm supervisor over this process is, what their business plan was and how they, intend to use their resources best and to maximize that. I have been unable to receive any information on that.
Representative Cordelli,
Yes, thank you. The idea that we moved the nursing home expenditure from farm to food, I think allows them, I think as a previous speaker said, to be more cost efficient, have a free market look at this, and I do not see it as devaluing the produce of the farm in any way, but just allowing more options. And I don't necessarily agree with, I don't think there's a compelling viewpoint on the part of the nursing home to buy the $3,500 last year, but certainly trying to match their numbers, might enter into the discussion, whereas now they will have, I think, greater flexibility in their purchasing of food. And so I don't have any problem with this.
Representative Butler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things. One is that in the discussion relative to what the farm grows, in part for the nursing home, you recall, Representative Nelson, that we did have some of that discussion, although Will wasn't there, that there would be an effort to coordinate between the farm and the nursing home for things that the nursing home can use. But the other piece is that this is for the sale of produce. This doesn't necessarily directly impact the nursing home requirement to buy. And it seems to me that if the last several years have produced significant income, not only from the nursing home, but from other venues, then the $3,500 is at least conservative and reasonable, it seems to me. So I would ask to amend the motion to $3,500.
Do I have a second for that? Representative Lavender. Mr. Chandler.
From the nursing home's perspective, it doesn't matter which line item the expense amount is. It's our hope that we're going to be exceeding each year the amount of produce that we can buy from the farm and support the farm, because it makes sense to buy lower cost, higher quality, fresh items. Each year, our food service director, Rob, meets with Will to plan ahead. So when we're also starting negotiations with the House of Corrections, because a good portion of what happens with fresh produce is there's a handling component. And the House of Correction has expressed great willingness to participate with a labor component of that. So regardless of where it is, we hope not only to match last year's expense, but hopefully to exceed it to the degree that it's in the best interest of, quite frankly, of the nursing home budget. So we're pursuing it in a business-like fashion that and will, in terms of pricing, availability, quantities, have to match what we would otherwise be able to meet. And of course, we can't, but Will's always exceeding both price and quality, and Rob is buying on that basis.
Okay, thank you. Representative White.
I support Representative Butler's motion because I think $3,500, which was put in by the commissioners, is a realistic projection of what the farm, what the income will be. And I think in doing the revenue budget, it's important to reflect realistically what's going to come in. So I support putting that back in.
Okay. I'm not sure, well, okay.
Madam Chairman.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm glad it was her.
This is
Good thing the
bad.
speaker's in here.
There's no committee requirement for a fee, penalty.
Penalty. Oh, wow.
I move $5.
Is that every time
I
it
second.
rains?
I don't even know who it was. Okay. Maybe,
Can we just, with
yeah.
all due respect, can we just vote on this This whole exercise doesn't amount to anything. Well, so let's just move along to something that does, I'm sorry. Can we just vote on whatever we're gonna do here, get it over with? I would respectfully ask.
I
Get
was,
on to something.
If I could, I will, in an effort to keep things rolling with Representative White and myself, I'd like to agree with her and move 3,500, call for the vote.
So you guys are back to even.
We're back, no, we're actually two agreements so far.
Well, but you agree.
okay. All those in favor of the sale of produce revenue at 3,500, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.
Nay.
One nay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We've already mentioned, if I could, the use of equipment decreased from 10,000 to 0, which is reflected over on the maintenance. And I would like to move number 55, 055, sale of wood, increase from $40,000 to $50,000.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And the reason for the increase is, last year, we brought in, I believe it was $50,000. We have contracts for firewood, campfire wood that exceed where our projections were last year. So I'm sure that just like farm produce, this will be even a larger number than what we see. Looking to increase it by at least to $10,000 and reduce our burden on the taxpayer.
Okay, thank you.
Was that seconded by Representative Merrill?
Lavender.
Lavender.
Okay, the only question I have is that on June 17th, 2013, we had a motion that the wood process must come from county land or already purchased. Once all purchased wood is processed, only use wood harvested from our own property. And so I assume this is, the 50,000 will be from all wood from our own property.
Thank you for bringing that up, and I appreciate Representative Cordelli for alerting us to that. I've had the discussion with the commissioners. They have a shortfall of wood that they need for this year's production. They were going to take monies from surplus from last year, $7,000 or $9,000, to bring that whole. My understanding is they are no longer going to do that, that money will stay in surplus, and that they have ordered another cut of wood, which will bring them up to the amount of wood that was not brought in for firewood production, because that wood was sold for a better income.
Okay.
So I believe that has been addressed.
All right, thank you.
So I believe that the new farm income total now will become $89,500.
Representative Cordelli.
Thank you, and thank you for all that information, and you're checking on that, Representative. Maybe a more general question. Under what circumstances, or what is required for the county to utilize money from surplus? As we had heard this discussion that they were planning to take money from surplus to buy wood prior to these last conversations. But is it a unanimous vote of the commissioners to take money for surplus at any point during the year, or does it require delegation approval? I'm just curious about the process for that.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I'll defer to the chairman.
I believe that requires delegation.
I would agree, but I think in this particular case, it was encumbered. It wasn't going to be taken from surplus.
I have a question.
Yes.
Representative McConkey mentioned 89.5, but I have 88.5.
Yep. Thank you.
88.5?
Well, unless there's something else.
Right.
I have three figures, which total 88.5.
Okay. I would amend that to 88.5.
So we have a motion on the floor for 50,000 in wood. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now make the 88.5.
I amend farm income total from, to become $88,500.
Second.
Any further discussion? Yes, Representative Tysers?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make clear that while the farm may not have provided a formal business plan to the subcommittee, the subcommittee has requested the information that would go into any business plan on a piece-by-piece basis on a number of occasions, and we have received that information when we've asked for it. So we have received information about wood processing, about produce, about machinery, about vehicles, about income, about expenditures, about where we're marketing, how we're marketing, all aspects of the business end of the farm. And I don't want the public to think that this is an operation that's done without planning or without analysis.
I appreciate that, but I guess that
Well, I think it's okay to have 50,000.
whenever, for example, our nursing home has provided us with a
That's zero.
business plan, okay? And so, because it is it has requirements. And so, I would think that the farm should come to the subcommittee with a plan and not have to ask about it. In that, that's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to say that they have done that they have provided us with information.
I'd like to ask the chairman of the subcommittee if he's received all that information that you asked for.
If I could take Representative Chandler's question. One of the questions requested weeks ago was for the business plan. What the subcommittee received was information from different sources and estimates, accounting of equipment and so forth. And I just want to say that scattered pieces of paper does not a business plan make. We have not received a business plan.
Let us
Move on?
please.
Thank you. Under expenditures, maintenance.
We didn't
Oh, we didn't vote
on
on
the
it? I thought we
farm
did.
income.
I'm sorry.
No, we did on the wood, but not on the farm income.
Thank you. All those in favor of 88.5 for the farm income, please raise your hand. Opposed? One.
Which one?
Huh?
Which one?
You raised?
No, I was just a little delayed.
No. It's unanimous. All right, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, on to the expense side of the farm, please.
Excuse me, under maintenance, and I show it as account 4193, maintenance, item number 097, new equipment. I have this correctly. Testimony from maintenance last week revealed that there were $500 for chemicals that should be in the water budget that are here in maintenance. So I'm looking to reduce new equipment line from $2,000 to $1,500. That was my understanding that was.
How'd you get? Mark,
We
you're
say
reading.
3,000.
You're reading the wrong number.
Oh, I'm using old numbers. I didn't have your new sheets. Okay. Maintenance, new equipment. Yeah, I'm on page 18.
Which dates are we using, please?
24th.
What's that?
That's under maintenance. I think it's-
Am I still on 97?
Here's what it was
Yes.
when we started out. 3,000.
And we're still showing 3,000
Right.
here. So motion is to reduce from 3,000 to 2,500.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was not here last week, I'm sorry, but I looked in my packet that was handed out. I think it's sometime maybe back in January or February, three times that I can recall, I've asked for a list of new equipment. I've yet to see one, I don't, maybe someone else has. And I'm not gonna vote by any new equipment until I see a list, so that's just my position.
Thank you. I believe the supervisor had provided at the first meeting the list of new equipment. Perhaps you have that list here. We'd asked last meeting, we didn't have it here.
I would think that the original request, though, was for new equipment across the board,
Yes,
not just.
not just here,
Oh,
not
okay.
just countywide in each department. In the, I'm saying we were getting it, but
Okay,
it
thank
may
you.
be somewhere, I just don't have it.
My understanding of this $3,000, that $1,000 of the new equipment is replacement hand tools and so forth that we go through. No? Does the supervisor have a list of what it is?
Can I speak, Madam Chairman?
Sure.
Under the farm, the list that I gave out, that $3,000 is one item. It's a replacement hay rake. The items you're talking about, sir, you're correct, but that's under the maintenance department new equipment, not the farm new equipment. So by reducing it $500 to $2,500, I really don't understand what you guys are accomplishing, because I asked for $3,000 for a new hay rake. But I don't know where that minus 500 is coming from, or what's going on.
Let me get to maintenance, because maintenance is where I had this item coming from.
I think what happened, Representative
Go ahead, Commissioner.
McConkey, is that we talked about the $500 for chemicals for the water department.
Right.
And I think what happened was it should have gone under the water department, increase under the water department. I think it did. But I'm not sure why it should be coming out of maintenance.
Okay, if I could back up. The item I'm referring to is under maintenance, which is on page 14. And it's account number 097, which is new equipment. And unless I'm mistaken in our conversation that we had, and Will was not here at the time, but Assistant McBride was here. When we talked about that, he had said that there, in the maintenance budget, was a chemical product that we have to buy 3 years, and it is every 3 years, and it's used exclusively for the water department. And so we were reducing that by $500 and moving that over to water department, which then would have reduced us from $2,000 to $1,500. That's where this recommendation is coming from. That was brought forward by your department.
But that's not in this farm budget.
No, it's under maintenance,
Got it.
which is where I thought I,
So there's no 1,500 under maintenance?
maintenance is 4193, which is what I called out. Maintenance, and that's the line for new equipment. Somehow we got transposed over to farm.
Yep. Okay, so we're not in the farm budget now.
No, I switched from budget expenditures over to maintenance.
Sorry.
I'll bring you back to farm. And of the expenditures on the maintenance side, I believe $1,000 of that, plus or minus every year, is for the replacement of hand tools.
I think he's right.
Yes,
On
sir.
the maintenance side.
Yes, sir, we use about 1,500 generally. We increased it to 2,000 this year, because when we moved all the expenses over from the other departments, normally the nursing home buys snow shovels and such, but we took that out of their budget, so I had to add in some money for those types of items. that the
You
nursing
gave
home
that
buys.
back, we gave that back to the nursing home,
Okay. then we
remember?
reduced it
That
by-
was part of their,
Sure.
that's
We
what,
reduced that by 500, that was what it was for, sir, so.
Let me just look at water and see if it got added in.
Is there any
So it's
chance of
just-
making a motion that it's 10 o'clock, and I was hoping at least to get out by noon, that we don't discuss anything that doesn't amount to at least $5,000? Move along, I mean, get bound up on these snow shovels. Excuse me.
Thank you. And if I could, while you're chewing on that, I will go to account 4106, which is Waterworks.
What page? Thank you.
And item 076 is chemicals, increasing from $350 to $800, which is what the department told us last week was the corresponding amount of money for that, so that's where that switch came from and where it went to. Yes.
I've got 850.
Yep, 350 to 850.
350 to 850, thank you. Don't stay up late doing this. Yeah, see, we're making money here already.
Okay,
So the bottom line, well,
bottom line on the jail.
maintenance.
On maintenance, we approved last time, 161,688. That was our final puts and takes.
161.
161,668. Okay, and Kathy, you've got that wrong in the final.
Right, actually, you had taken 1,600 off.
We
so
took
it's
1,600 off, 162,268.
Right, so that came to 160,668.
160.
668.
Oh, okay, you're right, I can't subtract, so we gotta redo that number.
66.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's
Less
$1,600.
$500.
Yes.
Yeah, agree. Can't follow all this.
Okay, so we'll have to fix that.
I thought we had it right.
So 160, 168 is
Okay.
what?
All right,
So I'm proposing the new bottom line then would be 160,168, which is a reduction of $500 for me.
Will
That
you-
wasn't reflected.
no.
Will you withdraw your last motion?
I'd be happy to. Do you have a new motion?
Your last motion was
Oh,
this,
okay.
this
Thank you.
500 to 2,500 on the, yeah, that got confused.
Okay.
So
So
if you just-
reducing from 2,000 to 1,500 on line 97.
Yeah.
And
2,000 to 1,500, okay. Okay,
Page 14.
and that equates now to a new bottom line of,
160, 168.
yes, of 160,168.
6-8.
Yeah, 168,
I'll second that.
okay?
You will.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. All right, now we still haven't finished up the farm.
Okay, so that's maintenance.
So what else you have, Mrs.
I have,
Representative Cockey?
I have nothing else on the farm.
Okay, so what is the bottom line?
Page 17.
Would you like to think about that a moment?
I would appreciate some help on that.
We didn't make any changes to it at all. The number should be correct.
One 128,261.
128,261.
Before we do that, I have one other item. I'm not sure where it
Okay.
falls
All right.
under there.
Go ahead.
Okay. As I mentioned before, there are 4 individuals that work this department or are paid by this department. And their hours are then distributed by percentage between. And I'm not sure in which department the salary for the maintenance supervisor is in, or if it's a percentage in all three budgets. So what I'm making a motion for, at present, the commissioners have recommended a $3,000 salary increase for the maintenance supervisor. I am motioning that we reduce that in whatever form they choose, so that the supervisor, instead of receiving a $3,000 increase in compensation, would receive the 40 cents an hour compensation as the rest of the non-union employees are receiving.
Do I have a
I
second?
second that.
And I don't know where that would fit into the budget, so I bring it up before we do the formal budget.
Okay. Well, perhaps Kathy, you could answer that question for us?
Well,
Wherever Will's salary is.
Okay, while you're looking for that.
yeah, I have a folder.
Yep. Representative Cordelli?
Yes, I believe we have another agenda topic coming up for non-union raises.
Mhm.
So would it be appropriate to discuss this as part of that topic? Or would it be better to discuss it now? Because I would have another motion related to non-union.
Yeah. Understand. No, I think it would be better to take care of this
Okay.
one way or the other. Representative Kenny? Or, sorry, Commissioner Kenny?
Yes, just want to make a comment. Last week or last Monday, we didn't reduce the HR director's salary and the assistant. And why are we going to now to reduce from the farm? Everyone needs to be treated equally. You give everyone 40 cents an hour, or you leave it the way it is. You cannot have it both ways and taking sides and said, we're going to increase that and leave that in, and now we're not giving it the farm supervisor. I don't think it's fair.
Thank you. Commissioner Babson?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, this appears to be a convoluted system. We evaluate our employees. We check with other counties to see how they're being paid in comparison. And we sit down and we make a decision on what we want to give the individual for a raise. And now we've told the individual what he's going to get for a raise. We put it in our budget for a raise. This is backwards. I mean, you should be telling us, okay, this year you've got $15,000 to distribute amongst the 5 people that you directly report to you, and then we figure it out, because it's unfair to tell an employee, Will is an excellent employee, he's underpaid, we brought him up to a salary that makes sense, salary he'll accept, without leaving, we hope, and to turn around and say, no, we're not gonna do that, it just doesn't make sense.
Representative Merrill?
Yeah, thank you. I don't believe that we could cut anybody's salary. We cut the bottom line and let them figure it out, but I don't think we have the authority to go to them and say, you're not paying them.
No, that's
Am
why.
I correct? We just
that's
set the
correct.
bottom line and they can pay whoever they want to or take it from somewhere else.
That's why we
Okay.
asked
Cutting lines all
Kathy
along.
where the salary was
Yeah.
located.
Okay, the total salary for the 4 individuals here that are part of the farm maintenance, water, blah, 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 the total is $151,111. I have it printed out for everybody so they can see how it's broken out. So much to water, 16 maintenance and farm, and the maintenance supervisor is under maintenance.
So that's,
So it should be,
And
That's the one that we just approved.
so it should be, this should be under maintenance.
amended down to 280. and leave farm where it is. So in light of that, Madam Chairman, I'd like to revisit the maintenance.
Well, let's get rid of that motion first.
Okay, I removed my motion under farm to reduce salary and/or bottom line by the difference of $3,000 and $2,138. So do you want to finish the farm budget then, bottom line? So the farm budget line, unless corrected, is $128,261 less the $500.
We didn't take that.
We didn't take that, right?
Because it was for a hay rate
Oh,
that cost
okay,
$3,000.
all right. So the farm is at $128,261, as shown.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One,
Two.
two.
We're building momentum here.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, may I go back to the maintenance, bottom line?
You may.
I'd like to move back to the maintenance bottom line shown on page 15, removing $2,138 from that total.
Actually, we want to reduce the salary line.
I didn't know that that's fine. Reduce the salary line from $88,336 down by $2,138, making the new recommendation for that to be $86,018.
Plus the,
plus the corresponding, minus the corresponding benefits.
okay. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Sake of discussion.
So do we know what the bottom line is if we still have to figure, okay.
No, that will still have to be figured out. Okay. It's a motion to remove, or to reduce the salary line to $86,018, along with the corresponding benefit lines, whatever that equates to, because I don't know. We don't know that. So, I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Representative Crawford?
Just so I have clarification, thank you, Madam Chair. If we don't have the authority to tell the commissioners where they're spending their money, but we're being very specific in the salary line, does that mean that if they feel that Will deserves the raise, that they can take it from someplace else? That's what I want to know. Even though we've
I believe
reduced the line to 86, do the commissioners still have the authority to take it from somewhere else to put that money back there, so if they feel that Will deserves the raise, that they can still give it to him?
I believe that there is a something or other that says that they can move up to $1,000 around any place they want. And that if it's greater than that, then it requires the county convention to approve it. Yes?
Is that $1,000 from another department, or is that, because, for example, in the town, I can move anything within that. If I have a maintenance department and I have salaries, and I
Right,
knock the
but-
salary down, but I can move anything within that thing there.
Right.
no matter what it is, but does that mean that that $1,000 has, if they take it from another department or from here, just clarification?
I think it's within here, is that correct, Representative? or
It has to be
Commissioner?
within the department. If it goes from one department to another, you have to approve it.
Yeah, because, okay, so you still could do it within that department.
Representative Butler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could ask Representative McConkey, do you feel that the reason for your recommendation for reduction, is it because you don't feel that the particular manager deserves the raise? What is the rationale different from what the commissioners have recommended?
Thank you. The discussion several weeks ago with the commissioners, when they were asked how they go about figuring out what pay increases any employee should have, it was questioned by the delegation, do you go through a review process of all your employees and increase salaries or decrease depending on merit or performance? I believe the commissioners responded that they don't. And that they,
That's not
but what they did say was that two of their employees did an outstanding job, one being the HR person that we spoke of earlier, and the other being the farm. We have a budget that is increasing. The workforce out there would love to see a 40-cent increase. In the private sector, the commissioners have made their recommendation. They believe everybody, whether non-union, whether it be salaried or individuals, should receive that same proportion. And I believe in rising costs that we should carry that line forward for all employees.
Thank you.
Commissioner Babson?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Representative McConkey's statement that said we didn't evaluate is absolutely 100% false. We had an interview with each one of with HR, with the farm, with the jail, the nursing home. We had an interview. We did an evaluation for all of them. It's in their personal file, and at the time we recommended raises.
That may be the case, but I will tell you, as I sat here and listened to exactly the same thing that Representative McConkey, and the question was asked of you if you did a review of all your employees, and the answer was flat out no, except in a couple of instances. So that's what you said. Now, you may have done them, and I don't know why you answered that way, but I can tell you that was the answer.
Well, we want to correct that,
Wow.
Thank you.
if that was so.
Representative Wright?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would move an amendment to a compromise position, to amend that line to $87,337. That would reduce the line to $199 and give the commissioners the ability to move the $1,000 from someplace else, should they want to do that.
Do I have a second for that? And Representative White? Okay, is there any further discussion? Yes.
Just a clarification, the increase is an additional how much? That you're,
No, what I would
that you're suggesting?
move the line on salary, line 009,
Mhm.
to amend it to $87,337.
So that's an additional.
It's $999 less than the
Thank you.
subcommittee.
Okay. The delegation have any other comments? Okay. Representative Kenny, or,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Commissioner
Commissioner Kenny?
Yes, I just want to say if anyone does not support the farm, that doesn't mean that they have to cut Will's salary. And also, the HR director, her budget, the salary line was not cut. Why are we now cutting the salary line of Will? I just don't understand that.
if you started to cut salary lines, why are you not cutting both? And if not, just don't cut at all. It is just not fair, and I hope that it fails. It shouldn't carry. Everyone gets 40 cents across the board, 40 cents an hour. Or if you leave the HR department in, you don't cut in the salary. This cut is specifically, this has to do with will. This is just a salary line item, and I don't think it is fair.
Thank you.
Can I have a point of order?
Certainly.
If the conversations could be kept to the positions and not the people.
I concur.
Thank you.
Representative Merrill?
Thank you. I think I've said this before, but, and I'm not saying that I'm against cuts, because I certainly support the cuts. But my philosophy has always been that real good people are hard to find, and you pay a position for what that position is worth. And if the person doesn't fit that position, you fire them. And if they fit that position, then you pay them what it's worth. Now, I had much rather, if I were gonna make a cut, if you had done this to me, I'd still pay the salaries, but I'd make a cut somewhere in here, because there are other areas in here that probably can be cut. And I'm not saying the cut's not justified. It's just that seems like every time we go for a cut, we go after salaries, and these salaries are not excessive by today's standards. And the whole thing bugs me on salaries, just cut something, but let's pay the job what the job's worth, never mind the person.
Thank you. Representative Cordelli.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'll be voting against this, but bringing forward a motion when we get to the other topic on the agenda for global change in the 40-cent figure and a different mode of assigning increases.
Thank you. Mr. Group.
I would just like for a point of clarification that the 2 increases that were suggested for the farm manager as well as the HR generalist who had a job change and is now a benefits administrator also, those 2 increases were not because they were evaluated and did a great job. They were in a change of jobs and a reclassification to their job description. So it did not have to do with the evaluation process. That had to do with reclassifying those 2 jobs and putting them as to a fair and equitable salary according to other entities throughout the state. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor to change the salary line to 87,337 and the corresponding benefit reduction. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. 3 in favor. Okay, opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So this goes back to our original motion. The amendment failed. Our original motion was to change the salary line to 86,018. Okay, all those in favor of that, raise your hand. 2, opposed? Okay, thank you.
I don't get it.
Okay.
So the bottom
Maintenance
line
stays the same, and farm is the same.
Okay, so we need a motion on the farm. Or
No.
No, we
You
already
got it.
did that.
You got it.
Okay,
You got the phone and you got the maintenance.
all right,
Last item.
yes.
Last item I have is a recommendation to the commissioners, not a budget item, and that is that the delegation recommend to the commissioners that we discontinue the present pilot pig project presently housed on the county complex.
Second, if that's a motion or a...
No, it's a, well, pilot pig program.
I have it as the present pilot pig project.
The PPPP.
The PPP, part of the PPP.
Doesn't pilot pig, that's quite.
Okay.
Where is that? That's quadruple.
PPP.
Oh my.
Representative Ticehurst.
I'm sure we can make a motion on anything that we want to make a motion on as far as recommendations go, but I just wonder if this is our role. Isn't our role just to set the budget?
I agree that our role is to set the budget. But if there is one penny spent on something and there was money spent on the pig program last year, that was done within the budget. Okay? There was time. It wasn't done, you can't ignore the pigs for 8 hours a day and then say you're only doing it at night or whatever. And so, I guess that what we're saying is that we want to discontinue the pig program so that we are assured that no dollars will be spent on the pig program.
Housing, everything.
Yes.
Because we were housing them here, which of course, okay.
Yes.
Representative Kenny?
Commissioner Kenny,
Commissioner Kenny, excuse me.
Just want to make a comment. The HR director just made a statement, and she said that the salary increases was about a change in job description. Was she contradict now the two commissioners because they just said it was done on evaluation?
Can I make a point? I'm sorry. In the and once again, here we are at 10:30, and I appreciate if we have a question of the commissioners, we can ask the question. Other than that, this is our time to fix this, do this budget now, not the time for public or commissioner comment has passed. If we have a question of them, certainly we can ask it, but other than that, I would ask that we try to move along.
Representative Alden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I suppose, the motion was just to eliminate the pig, the pig program, the quadruple P. But, I have concerns that, certainly my recollections of when we voted for appropriating money to buy feed and for renovating some housing over there for the pig program, and that, and then we essentially directed the commissioners to get donations of the parent, the mama pigs. But then the process of it, and as we were told, it feels like, we can do this after hours, so to speak. But, the sale of the pigs is not reflected on anywhere on our budget. So, and that certainly isn't my recollections of what we thought was going to happen when we allowed this program to begin. So certainly if we appropriated money to start a program, there's something going on here on the complex, and pigs are being sold, but no revenue is being reflected anywhere on the budget, then we have to ask the question, what is going on? Because certainly that's something that I'm very concerned about.
Thank you. Representative Merrill?
Thank you. I agree with Mark on this, but I don't think we need to discuss it too long because Will had indicated this morning that they're doing away with the pig. So why don't we just pass it and get on with it?
Let the pigs pass.
Passed it, we'll add another P to the form.
Past pilot pig program.
Representative Ticehurst?
I'd like to just move on this also, but I also think that I know that on our subcommittee, we were given more information about the pig program. I can't repeat it word for word, but my impression was that the county would have gotten a very good deal out of this program, that we would have stood to benefit, that it was not a net expense to the county.
Okay.
So if we gave the operator of the pig program an opportunity to explain that to us, it might help.
Well, I don't think we need to go through that Representative,
Whatever I am.
Representative Butler.
I agree that just in touring the farm this morning, what we could in the snow, that it was said that the PPPP program could in fact return revenue to the county, as Representative Ticer said. And I also agree that the county has a budget and that's our responsibility. And it's my understanding that Representative McConkey's statements are a recommendation and not a motion, and I think we should leave it at that.
No, we have a motion on the floor.
Do we have a motion, sir?
Yep.
And was it seconded?
Yes, it was.
By?
Me.
Okay.
Representative Chandler. Okay, let us not continue a long discussion on pigs, okay? But Representative Cordelli, you may have the last word on
Thank
pigs.
you. I would just like to comment that I think this is a perfect example of how this might fit into a business plan for the farm. If, there's a pilot program and potential revenue down the line, I think would be very appropriate for a business plan.
Okay.
We were provided
gave you
with
one.
that
All-
information.
Gave you one last year.
A business plan?
Yes.
Excuse me. All those in favor of discontinuing the pilot pig project?
Excuse me, point of order?
Yes.
I think the motion was to recommend to the commissioners that we get rid of it. I think we have to be really clear on that.
I don't have an issue either one, as long as they're gone. But my recommendation was to recommend, unless there's a further motion to
Okay.
change that. I think that's fine.
That's fine.
Motion to recommend.
All right. Okay, thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand so we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Do that one piggy, 2 piggy,
7,
3
8, 9. Opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Motion carried. Are we done with you, Representative McConkey?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Representative Algren, I know that you are not going to take quite as long.
Thank you, Madam Chair, I'll consider that a compliment.
Thank you.
And I apologize for being a little tardy. I had a very important presentation to be given by a 11-year-old this morning on my way in. So I apologize for that.
Okay.
And I tried to send you an email. So where we are at, as you look at the revenues,
Well,
what would you like me to do?
yeah, if we can, were the only changes that were made in the nursing home budget, in the dietary area, on the expenditures? Were there any other changes made other than in the nursing home dietary expenditures?
I apologize. From the sheets that we worked on Monday, there were minor changes. I can review them.
Okay, I don't want to know about dietary because we've already approved that.
So, in dietary.
Don't talk about
the
dietary.
bottom-
We've
Pardon me?
already approved that.
Okay.
Was
So-
there anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
Under pellets,
Yes.
but we did it.
Right, we did that.
We did that one. Plant operations, we approved that as well, right? Okay.
Yes, I believe at the last meeting, we approved everything
Except the bottom line.
except, well, I gave a number for the bottom line, but it may have been $7 off. But no, it's good.
I think it's 12,244,249.
Okay, that's the move, that's the number I moved. I don't have a complete recollection whether we voted on it or not.
No.
The total number for the enterprise fund is $12,244,249 for expenditure.
Would you like to make that a motion?
So moved.
All right. Second? Is there any
Who seconds the second?
Representative Butler. Is there any further discussion on the $12,244,249.
12,244,249.
Okay. Do I have 8 people here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes, okay. Oh, representatives, okay. Coffee done.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor? Oh, you had a comment?
Yes, just if I might, I think looking at the actuals from last year, that's about a $500,000 increase in the enterprise fund, is it not?
Yes.
From the actual.
Yes.
Yes, would you like me to respond to that? Well, as part of the business plan that we put together, we do anticipate some increased expense to take care of the skilled residents, okay? And what happens is, we still, the $450 a day over the $162 a day differential daily that we receive is intact, okay? But what happens is, while they're here, they receive additional care. They receive therapies, okay? And we have to pay that person to do the therapy. We're also paid more money for that. And we're currently contracted with an outside firm where we get 20% of that money, okay? So we're anticipating with the increase in skilled care that there will actually be some increase in appropriations because of that, but there will also be increased revenues that offset that appropriation. We make 20% on all that money spent, but that's the why there's a differential.
Okay.
If that's
Are there,
helpful.
are there any further questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? 2.
I didn't vote because I didn't hear the motion, I was out.
Just vote no, sorry. When in doubt.
And one abstention.
That's a good rule of thumb.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So 1, 2, and 1.
Right.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay, now we may go to income. I guess we should have a motion that says, the remaining departments at the nursing home are approved as stated or something, because every, you know, when I look back through past years, we went through every single one. And I'd rather not have motions on every single one, but just one overall motion that says that.
Sure. I move that, as reflected in the ACS Financial System Report dated
March 24th.
March 24th, that the remaining departments are as stated on that sheet, to give us the total of $12,244,249.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 10 and 2. Opposed? 2. Okay. Now I think we can move to income. Well, yes, income.
For the nursing home? Okay. Right, last week, we passed out a worksheet, and hopefully you have those. And then page number 2, the first page has all the projections and the budgets and things on it. And what we approved was column E of a budget of 11, well, we didn't approve that yet.
We just did.
No.
No, we didn't approve the revenues.
Oh, revenues.
Now we're moving on to the revenues. But if you look at column E, the revenues of $11,104,462, which is a basis of 0.75% over the previous year, which is in column D. You can see the 11,021,799. Okay, so 0.75% increase over that. That 11,104,462 is reflected on the next page. There's a laundry list of the items, but if you look in the columns of numbers, if you look in the middle column, it totals up to the 11,104,462. And they are itemized in the increases and decreases. We, as a subcommittee, defer to the expertise of the administration of the Mountain View community to decide where they would put the increased revenues at over the commissioner's recommendations. These do not reflect the change in business plan. This is more of a reflection of the previous year's revenues and then just a 0.75% increase, I believe. It was not really based on, because at that time we hadn't had any approval on those business plans happening. Okay, so this is irrespective of that. The nursing home administration was very helpful in compilating these numbers. They feel that under the business plan, there's certainly an excellent chance that we can make these projections. Even without the changes, we were very optimistic that we could reach those goals. But with the changes that have been approved by the commissioners, they are, have an extreme amount of confidence that we can get to that goal. And so they've all been enumerated, and they are, I believe, in the changes of the revenue sheet that we received this morning, dated the 28th. So those are all already in your sheet.
Yes.
To come up with if you look on page 5 of the revenue budget worksheet, under subcommittees, it says 11,104,462. So that's what was approved in our subcommittee. And that's what we bring forward today as the projected revenue. With the approval of those revenues, if you look back on that worksheet, you will find that the net impact on the tax rate will be, that worksheet's not quite up to date, but it's just shy, but it's almost $300,000. It's like $289,000 under column G. So with this addition on the revenues, the nursing home will actually help the original proposed tax rate by $300,000.
I just have a question for Representative Baldwin.
Sure.
A minute ago, we show an expenditure increase of, I think, $481,000, and you attributed that to doing things that were going to produce more income.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of income that you're telling us we're going to get this year is only $82,000 more than what we got last year.
Yes, but that's, the budget is, the number he projected was our budgeted number versus the actual number. Last year's budgeted number and this year's budgeted number is only $107,000 increase. But the amount of actual revenue, our budgeted revenue, there's budgeted revenue versus new budgeted revenue is $500,000 more. So it's the difference between 10,699, 251.
It isn't, but that's okay. Thank you.
I know what I'm talking about, and so so go ahead and clarify your question.
I don't dispute the fact that you think you know what you're talking about. The numbers that you're talking about don't add up very well, that's all I'm saying. The amount of money you say we're gonna make more doesn't show that that's gonna be what we're gonna make. We're showing, I'm sorry, I've made my case, my point, that's good enough.
Well, with all due respect, Representative Chandler, the statements that I have made are absolutely and positively correct. And that
Why
the
is it like
budgeted,
that?
the difference between last year's budget and this year's budget being decreased by $300,000. If you look at the budgeted number from 2003, the nursing home was budgeted to lose $1,437,000. This year, the nursing home is budgeted to lose $1,156,000. That is almost, and this worksheet isn't quite up to date, that differential is $400,000. So we have budgeted the nursing home to lose $400,000 less. And if the nursing home is budgeted to lose, I'm sorry, $300,000 less. If the nursing home is budgeted to lose $300,000 less, then the ultimate impact on the tax rate is $300,000 to the benefit of the taxpayer in accordance with the budget. That's what will happen. If not, we can change the revenues back, and we can do this at the end, and we can look at the tax rate if we would like to remove my proposed changes, and we can see what the impact on the tax rate is if you further don't believe what I am saying.
Representative Cordelli?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to comment that I think that we sometimes make a mistake by looking at budgeted number. I think we have to look at actual to budgeted number as well. The last 3 years, the actual expenditures have gone from $225 million, $700,000 to almost $27 million. An increase.
Excuse me, you're talking about the total budget.
Overall county budget.
But we're looking at just the
Right, yes,
nursing home
right.
at this point, okay?
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Do I have a motion on the revenue for the nursing home?
Yes, I'd like to move for the total revenues as compilated on the ACS financial system sheet dated 3/28/14 to be a total of $11,104,462.
Second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Representative Chandler, I don't think you got your question answered.
No, I'm just making the point, and I agree with Representative Cordelli, that the actual income that we received last year, and opposed to what we're projecting this year, we're only projecting an $82,000 increase in income, and we were told that $481,000 increase in expenditures would lead us to get more income. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, those two figures don't add up, that's all. Well, you know.
You were looking at the actual income as opposed to the budgeted income.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And Representative Algren is looking at budgeted to budgeted.
That's correct.
Okay. As opposed to actual.
It's a different philosophical approach. One of which is more accurate than the other. I didn't say which one.
Well, I am not going to get into that discussion, because I was concerned last night about $735 in the Kearsarge lighting precinct, so you know that that's okay. So I have a motion on the floor to accept the revenue of $11,104,462 for the nursing home. All those in favor? Opposed? One? Two. All right.
Is there 12?
No.
We're down to 11.
We're down to 11.
We have 12.
We have 12. Okay. We need to go back to the jail. And that is this piece of paper that's a separate piece. On the jail, we had eliminated a position, and we didn't know exactly how much that was going to change the bottom line. And so, if I could, Representative McConkey, could I ask you to make a motion to accept this number here, please?
Yes, okay, and that number is here, shown on page 3.
Yes.
Make a motion under jail and House of Corrections to adjust that total to 3 million, is that the number? $3,223,302.
Do I have a second? Representative Lavender, thank you. Okay, Kathy made the adjustments as were discussed, and so I don't think there needs to be any further discussion. So, all those in favor of $3,223,302 for the jail, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 1. Thank you. All right. I think that takes care of all of the budget.
Capital expenditures, Madam Chair?
I just wanted to-
No, we
I'm
did that
sorry.
before.
Did we accept the $20,000?
Under capital expenditures,
Page 20.
it's on page 20. I thought we had done that part, but that's okay. Would you like to,
Thank you. Under, I don't believe that, we had a discussion on this, and I don't believe that we approved the bottom line on capital expenditures, and I have a question. Well, I'll have a motion, I'll make a motion.
okay?
Farm to reduce from $20,000 by 12, which would be reduced from $20,000 to $8,000.
Okay, so line item 100.
91.
Yeah, 91, the last three.
Do you know why?
Change that from 20,000 to 8,000. And if, did I get a second on that?
Second.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Discussion. My understanding is that in the $20,000, the commissioners are asking to acquire a yard truck, and they've placed a value of that at $12,000. I'm in disagreement with the need for the other vehicle. We have, for better or for worse, a number of vehicles presently that exceeds the number of employees that we have for that department. I believe we have an underutilized vehicle that has a dump body on it that we use in limited capacity for delivery of hay and wood. And I heard this morning in a tour that truck is used extensively between the months of June and fall. I don't see a need for that, and I think that where we already own a 1-ton, where we own a 3/4 ton truck, that if the commissioners truly need a dump body from time to time in a limited capacity, they should be looking to augment the trucks that we own, whether that be a lift body added on to that. But to go and add another vehicle to a fleet I don't think is necessary at this point in time.
Thank you. Is there any other comment?
I just wanted to hear from the maintenance director.
Will, would you like to speak to this, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
First off, coming around, we passed around a sheet. I set out a plan a couple of years ago, last year it started, to replace some of the maintenance vehicles that are used for plowing here. I have two vehicles that we use for plowing, and eventually we're going to need to replace those. We have 24-hour coverage that has to be done here. The town I come from, Ossipee, we put money in every year, so when we need a new truck, we don't have a huge amount of money that we have to ask for. So I set this plan in motion. Last year I asked for $10,000 over the next 3 years to do that. Last year we were not funded, as you can see on the page. So this year I asked, can we do $20,000 to get this plan back on track? The commissioners agreed with me. This is what I submitted in October. In the meantime, we have the discussion about the $12,000 that Representative McConkey is talking about. We have 2 yard trucks that are used on this complex. One is 1980. It's older than I am. It's rusted out. The bed cannot dump anymore. It's unsafe to drive with the brakes, even on the complex. These are the ones that do 90% of the time haul the inmates around on this complex. The other one, which was fine, we thought we could try to get another year out of it. We're trying to squeak it out. In December, the frame broke. It is now not safe to drive and haul inmates around to do shoveling and lawn care here. Because I didn't put the $12,000 in the budget, because I was trying to save that money and get another year out of that truck, I asked the commissioners. The commissioners said we need to go to the subcommittee. The subcommittee said go back to the commissioners and get an amount. All 3 commissioners voted unanimously to do $12,000 for a dump body truck. We went back to the subcommittee, and that's where it stands, on that $12,000. So that's $12,000 is totally different than what I'm asking for this long-range plan of $20,000. The $20,000 is not meant to be spent this year. It's meant to be put in a savings account so we can buy another truck when that truck goes bad. In the meantime, as far as putting a dump body on the trucks we have, I don't recommend that. Because one, we have a sander in, and the other one, I have it open because there's high volume of traffic that takes place in front of this nursing home, and that's where I plow. And I personally want to have as much 100% visibility when I'm plowing out here as possible. So I don't want to drive a truck that has a dump body in it and reduces my visibility when there's so much traffic happening in front of this nursing home. So that's, if there's any questions, I'm willing to answer it. But I think we're confusing 2 different numbers here, and I just wanted to straighten that out. If anybody didn't get a copy of the plan, I printed off 20 of them, so I hope there's enough to go all the way around. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioners, can you explain then why you put it in capital expenditures instead of asking for it in capital reserve? If it's supposed to be a 3-year plan? Because in capital expenditures, it would appear to me that it would be expensed in this year, as opposed to capital reserve where it would be saved. And so
You're correct, I believe.
Representative Butler.
Thank you. So possibly this line should be 12,000 and 8,000 of it should be in capital reserves. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know. Representative McConkey?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just want to bring up a couple points. Buying a vehicle to transport prisoners, or excuse me, inmates, guests around our property when they own perfectly good shoes, I think is one item. Second item is we have a wood processor that we replaced last year to the tune of $50,000, and we're still in possession of the old wood processor. A business plan would address these things. You know, when I don't have money to buy something, I have to sell something, and we're holding on to a wood processor that we saw this morning. There's monies out there. Now there's conversation about a wood splitter, an individual wood splitter, because our wood that we produce from our new processor for $50,000 or $60,000, the pieces are too big, and the inmates have to use mauls to break that. Enough's enough. Like I said, we will have more vehicles than we have people to drive. And I support reducing this item by $12,000 for that truck. Allow the farm to go out and sell the processor and go through that process and where they need to use that money for things that make us income, that's fine. I do not support another vehicle.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Representative
I just have, this would be a procedural question for talking about where are we talking about this money now? Are we moving it from somewhere to somewhere? Whatever amount we're talking about, should it be in capital reserves? How much should be where?
Well, according to what,
And I would ask the commissioners if they have a comment.
according to what Will said, all $20,000 should be moved to capital reserve. That's what Will just said. And Representative McConkey is saying that he thinks that there is $8,000 in capital expenditures that the farm needs to make this year. Is that correct?
Madam Chairman, I was looking at that the $20,000 that they were asking for, it was my understanding they had $20,000 worth of needs that they were looking to purchase this year. And I was reducing their purchase of availability by $12,000 because I don't believe they need a $12,000 yard truck. Now the discussion has morphed into whether this is money for future needs, and I'm confused myself on that. So
Me too.
I don't support it.
According to what was said, is that this is $20,000 for future needs.
Well, if I may ask.
Because he said it was.
Will, whether we agree or disagree, Will said he wanted to buy a truck this year.
Right.
Yes.
$12,000 truck.
Right.
We were gonna try to save the truck that broke in
Right.
December. And it broke. We cannot save it any longer, so we're trying to get one. But I'm also at the same time trying to plan for the future, and I'm asking $20,000 to put away, like the chairman is correct on that. Set that aside. We don't wanna spend that this year. We wanna put it in reserve so that we have some money sitting there when we need to buy a new truck. So we're talking about two different trucks here, and I think that's where people are getting confused.
Where's the, if I may ask, where is the money for the truck you want to buy this year?
Right.
If I could, what happened, we didn't put the 12,000 in to buy the one-ton dump because the truck was operating through our budget, so we didn't have a chance to put it in December 1st. Truck broke down after December. That's why we wanted to put 12,000 in there to see if we could pick up a one-ton used dump truck to replace the two trucks that we can no longer use.
That's not a question. So, but there is no money anywhere in here to buy a truck this year. Is that correct?
We didn't get it in our budget.
That's what they're saying.
I think we made a mistake. That 20,000 should have gone up under capital reserves for the future. What we didn't do in our budget was put 12,000 in there to replace those two trucks to be spent this year.
Okay, so I'll just ask that question once more. At the present time, there is no money in this budget for a truck for this year.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Nelson.
Yes, if we have two trucks that are too dangerous to use, why on earth are they still on the premises? For liability reasons, you just said they're no good and rusted and falling apart. Why would we leave them here?
The plan is, with the permission of the commissioners, that they'll probably just go to the junkyard. One's buried in the snowbank out there, and the other one just happened this winter, so those two would be out of here, and we're replacing it with the one, is what I would perceive, the commissioners agreed.
Representative Alden first. Okay.
So, I'd like to make a motion to amend
okay.
Remove my motion.
the capital expenditure line number 100-9400.091 to amend that amount to $12,600, because I think that's what they're asking as step one of the process.
Okay, I've got a second for it. Okay, Representative Chandler.
That was gonna be my motion.
Okay. So, the motion on the floor is line number 91, 190, 491. Amend that to $12,000, $12,600.
Is that correct? I'm hearing 12,000, but the commissioner's saying 12,600.
We'll take it.
Well, that's nice, you'll take a lot, but what's the true number we should be putting in the budget? I don't care about what you'll take. I'm
We'll be
concerned
lucky.
about what the taxpayers are gonna have to be facing.
We'll be lucky to buy a second-hand dump
I know.
truck for 12,000.
I
I
agree.
looked at one for 24,000, it was a 205, 51,000 miles on it. So we'd be damn lucky if we could get one for 12,500, 12,600.
Okay, Representative McConkey?
I'd just like, and this is my own view from touring this facility, having been involved with this facility, there is no need for this truck. We already have a 1 ton in good working order, we have a 3/4 ton in good working
Pickups.
order. We apparently have 2 vehicles that are good enough to keep on property and still drive. We have a wood processor that was no good, we still have that on property. If you need vehicles for people that we don't have employees to drive, then I suggest you sell. Those 2 trucks are worth over $1,000 in trash. By Ricker will come pick them up.
$350.
You want to spend more and more money for things that don't need money spent for. I will not support it. And my Craigslisting shows me many vehicles that don't have to be registered, that never have to leave property, that can haul inmates with chains or no chains, with shovels or no shovels, with malls or no malls, for much less money. I apologize.
It's okay. Any other comments, Representative Butler? Oh, Representative Ticehurst?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think it's important to note, because we've heard a number of times about the number of vehicles and number of employees, that these are not commuter vehicles so that anybody can use any vehicle for anything. These are have special purposes and special uses, and sometimes those overlap, and sometimes just because you have a vehicle doesn't mean it's the right type of vehicle for the job.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Just, I have a comment.
Yes, you
I'm
may.
a little bit confused, if I may, if I could ask Representative McConkey. You indicated that when you say there are 2 trucks on already here, are you counting the ones that supposedly aren't any good? Are those the 2, or are there 2 others?
Thank you, Representative Mayo. They have 2 trucks that they say are in total disrepair that they can't use. The ones we saw
A
parked.
total of 2 trucks?
Those are
Okay,
2.
not 2, okay.
We also have a 1-ton truck, at least a 1-ton truck. We have a 3/4 ton truck that's used for snow plowing. I plowed a lot of years with a body in back of me without ever injuring the public. And we also own a stake body truck that we saw over there in the wood production. So we have 3 vehicles already. And my point is, you can get by another year without another yard truck at $12,000, $12,600. If you want to keep increasing the budget, then that would be your choice.
Representative Crawford?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since we don't, it's not a practice, and I'm new here, of putting money in a capital reserve fund, which is what towns do all the time, I wonder why this delegation does not plan ahead for things. And if we have things we need to sell, then why don't we sell them and put it in a reserve fund and start it going? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
Representative Crawford, I will only say that this has been a discussion item for the 6 years that I have been on the delegation. And,
Okay.
okay?
So if, may I?
Certainly.
Follow up, thank you. So if we have an old wood processor that needs to be sold, and we have 2 trucks that are no good, so you said aren't good any longer, that you could get, you think about $350 or $400 for each of those. I don't know what the wood processor, the old wood processor is worth.
Did you
It
get an
doesn't
estimate?
matter.
They were supposed
It
to
doesn't
sell
matter, but I'm just saying, sell it, and let's start from there. If Representative McConkey doesn't feel that he needs the truck this year, whatever we get from proceeds from that, let's start from there and build it up, because if I'm here next year, God only knows, I would encourage you to start planning ahead. A capital, you know, that's what towns do. I don't know why the county does not do that also.
Representative Butler and then Representative Chandler.
I would just comment that it's not the commissioners who are not planning ahead, it's the delegation who is not supporting that.
Thank you.
Representative Chandler?
Yeah, just a quick comment on capital reserve funds, and they're great at certain times, but when we're faced with a 17% increase in the amount to be raised by taxation, it's not a good year to be putting money in a capital reserve fund, in my opinion. When we have a year where we have a normal thing and we can use some surplus to do that without having to offset the tax rate, that's a great time to do it. We've had them in the past. We've had capital reserve funds here before, years ago.
We have.
Some, I think so.
I'm not
yeah.
sure, since I've been here, we've asked for them, but we've never got them approved.
It would appear to me that Representative Crawford's suggestion that you sell the trucks and put it into 089 and the wood processor would make a lot of sense.
I agree.
So when we see the money in there, we might be happy.
Happier.
I don't know about that. Okay. Representative Ticehurst.
Thank you. Just a suggestion that we might start with a capital improvement plan before we go to a capital reserve fund, because then we'll know ahead of time what major expenses we anticipate in the future.
Okay. I am not disagreeing.
Removing 20,000.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to change line item 100,940.091 from to $12,600.
Correct.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 3?
3.
Okay, opposed? Thank you.
Is that nine?
Yep. Do I have another motion, or are we?
He has it, didn't Representative McConkey, Representative
Oh,
Aubrey
yes.
was an amendment, I think.
Yep.
Yes, that was an amendment. We had 8,000.
Mhm.
Okay, that one failed. This is 8,000. Okay, all those in favor of the capital reserve for the capital expenditures for the farm line item at $8,000. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
Opposed? 2. Okay. All right,
I had a question, if I might.
certainly.
Some time ago, for the 4th time, I had asked if we could get a list of new equipment countywide. But we don't have it yet. Just checking.
We have not okay, I'll put it this way. Some of the subcommittees received a copy of new equipment that was in their subcommittee. Okay? Some subcommittees did not receive a new equipment list. But there has been, to the best of my knowledge, no new equipment list across the complex. Thank you. Okay. So the nursing home got one, the sheriff got one, and I think that was it. Okay, where am I? Find my agenda. Okay, we have approved the revenue for the nursing home, but we have not approved the revenue, we've approved the revenue for the nursing home and the farm. To the best of my knowledge, we have not approved the remaining revenue. So I will skip over county general because that's where the taxes are. And I think we have perhaps some other discussion. So on the sheriff's income, Representative Crawford, could I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the sheriff's income at 260, is this the right figure?
Yes.
63,360.
That's correct. Do I have a second? Representative Lavender? Is there any discussion? Representative Nelson?
My sheet shows we made some adjustments on those lines for income. I don't know if that was.
I don't, unfortunately, I don't have.
Anybody else, or is it me?
Did we change some things at our subcommittee meeting? Does that reflect on this?
Yes, it does. I had nothing. All those in favor of the sheriff's income, please raise your hand. Okay, I've got one, two opposed. Opposed? Did you oppose? You didn't raise your hand?
You do. That's correct.
Okay, oh, those opposed to the sheriff's income, please raise your hand.
Are you in favor?
I didn't.
Okay, so you are in favor of the sheriff's income?
No. I
Abstains.
didn't vote, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so you want to abstain?
Whatever.
Okay. And
No.
see,
You vote, don't count me.
I got you. Harry, what about you?
I voted. I just keep it up long enough, I guess, but I always gonna ask.
Thank
So
you.
it's 11 in favor and 1 abstention.
Okay. Registry of Deeds income. Could I have a motion on that, please?
I will move. Who's turn?
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Okay. Second?
Second.
What's the figure?
840345. Oh, 354, dyslexia is setting in. Okay, any comments? That's in line basically with where we've been.
Miss 8.
Yes.
That figure includes the surcharge count, which is not part of the income to the county.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Unanimous. The jail income, we've already approved at 42,000. The farm income at 88.5, we've already approved. Maintenance income at 46,000, we've already approved. Okay. Interest income at $2,000.
I'll move that.
Okay, Representative Butler,
Second.
second by Representative Conkey. Basically, the interest rates have been down significantly, and that's why we reduced it. So, all those in favor of the interest income, please raise your hand. Opposed? Not voting? Representative Chandler, did you agree with that figure?
I could care less, to be perfectly honest, it's a big difference either way.
Okay, we'll make it unanimous.
Thanks.
Okay. The commissioners had originally recommended a $200,000 number revenue surplus to reduce taxes. That figure has now changed to, they're now recommending $1 million. And perhaps they could explain to us where that came from. Representative.
700,000 came from unexpended, and we had an additional 300,000 come in revenue unexpected. That's why we recommend putting $1 million in.
Representative Butler.
Thank you. So this money doesn't, if all of this were used to reduce taxes, this would not impact the rainy day fund or whatever surplus monies we have to spend for emergencies.
That's correct.
That's correct, okay.
Well, excuse me, yeah, it will have an effect, because if we don't take it, there'll be $3,105,000 in there. So it does have an effect on it.
Of course.
It'll still leave $2 million something. But I have a question.
Yes.
Are you proposing that we're gonna take action on that right now?
No, I'm just,
Okay, no,
my only action is, are we willing to accept the $1 million?
well,
Or do we want more or
No.
less?
well, I think, speaking only for myself, no eyes ain't seen it. I need to see the revised figures, because for myself, prepared to make some kind of a motion on surplus, I need to know where we are standing with the budget and the current revenues and the changes we've made.
Mm.
But if
Yep.
no one else
Kathy
wants to
has
know that, I don't
response.
care.
Kathy?
I can go down and do that,
That'd be
if
great.
you'd like
Okay.
me to do that, because
That-
there's only been a few changes.
I mean, I think, if I could repeat,
Yep.
then at least amongst us, we have to decide, do we want an increase in county taxes to be 3%, 5%, 7%, 8%? And whatever that number is, we'll decide how much surplus we use.
Thank you for,
The other, unless there's no other change, as long as there's no other change.
Well, I'm gonna have, maybe, no, but I have
Okay.
a question.
hold it, please. You had a question?
I have a question about the sheriff, which may impact my thing. And could you give us a report on the dog bite incident?
Apparently yesterday in the parking lot, I believe, it was a small dog bite with the new dog while she was being socialized around the campus. The lady was treated, everything's fine. Obviously, the sheriff's office will take care of that bill at this point. We are reevaluating that specific dog.
Really? I would take exception to the fact of being a small bite. I guess we could ask the person, but it was certainly, it was pretty significant.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we're at that reevaluation stage. with Working Dog Organization and that specific dog.
If I can just ask a question. I can't even imagine it would be reevaluated. I can't even imagine we would be thinking, one, because I don't support the program, so, which leads me to some other motion maybe. But second of all, I can't even imagine we would be considering keeping that dog if we are gonna have it.
Well, at this point, I mean,
But anyway.
I would tell you right now, that dog is probably going back Monday morning.
Thank you.
Okay. Representative Baldwin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And while Kathy Gary is out double check, running the numbers, if she could just check on the balance of the unspent money from the nursing home bond. So I think it's a.
Change, so
But
we did spend, so, yeah, no, I can get you that number.
just so we know for sure what it
Yeah.
is, because that may have a little bit of an impact on, also, although that is not in the reserve fund, it's still money we have in reserve.
Okay, Kathy, it's.
It's money we got.
Yeah, come on. Okay, were you happy?
That's a pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not gonna
really.
happen. Satisfied.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Representative Cordelli, you had your.
Yes, are we going to discuss the non-union increases prior to getting a new total for consideration?
If you wish.
Okay. I would like to move that the 40%, 40-cent increase be removed from the budget in favor of a flat increase of $500 one time for full-time employees, proportional for part-time employees based on the number of hours, and that to qualify for such funds, that there has to be an evaluation of satisfactory or better for that employee since January of 2013. That's the first part of the motion.
Well, if you have more, get rid of it.
Okay, I'll throw it out there. And that for those employees who wish to forego benefits, including health, dental, prescription, vision, etc., that they receive a $1,000 stipend in exchange for foregoing those benefits.
The non-union.
Correct.
Second the motion.
All right, I have a second.
You have a comment, question? You have a question for Representative Cordelli?
Absolutely, Representative Merrill.
If you give the lump sum payments, what, have you done any calculations to see what difference that would make between the 40 cents and what they're actually getting? How much are they losing, I guess is what I'm asking.
Right.
$332 a year.
How much?
$332.
How did you come up with that? Because they're not all the same, are they?
Yes, everyone that is getting an increase this year, except for HR, and the farm, are getting $862. 32?
I think so.
Is it
Yeah,
32?
820.
I had 828.
80 hours times 40 cents.
Well, I think the.
$832.
$832.
That's for 40 hours a week, and if it's less, it's less.
Okay. Might have a follow-up to that.
Okay?
Why would you think that people who are not unionized are worth less money than the people who are? And wouldn't that encourage people who are not unionized to form a union?
Exactly.
Well,
Representative Cordelli?
I don't believe that there is any money included in this budget for unionized.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
There
sir.
is?
The sheriff's.
Mhm. Oh, the sheriff's, okay. Correct.
I don't think you
Representative
really answered my
Ticehurst?
question. no.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I thought I understood that our position was to set the budget amount, not to set the policy about how raises are given.
He has his comment, or his motion, okay, because it affects salary lines in every department, okay, becomes an overall motion, and we could multiply the 832 by the number, or whatever the figure is, and reduce the bottom line.
I think that
Okay.
would be appropriate, since it's not our position to be dictating how
Okay.
raises are given.
Then, Representative Cordelli, do you have that number?
No, I don't. I asked the HR director this morning if she could get us a breakdown of the number of full-time employees that would be included in that versus part-time. so
We've
that
got,
could-
we have that in our mess of stuff here. So, Representative Chandler,
Well, before we get that, I mean, I don't want to predispose what the outcome of the vote's gonna be, but I think we take the vote first, it'll save us time to get that information. But, I mean, speaking for one who might be the person you'd think would vote for this, I can't support that just because of the reason of the union. I'm not going to pay our non-union employees less than what we've already approved for the union. And I would agree that if the union contract hadn't been that, I would support something like this. But given that that's what we've already supported, I think we have to be fair to the other folks. And that's my whole reasoning.
okay. Is there any other comments?
And I would hope that it would give, excuse me if I may, I would hope that if we do stick with our 40 cents, and one union already settled 40 cents, would certainly give some impetus to the people who are working on the other contracts, that there wouldn't be any more than that, for sure. So I think that this should be helpful direction for them too.
Okay, is there any further, Mark?
Thank you.
Representative McConkey?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I appreciate the comment from Representative Chandler, and but I do want to state that the county, the commissioners have gone about negotiations with unions backwards, as far as I'm concerned, for a number of years, and it has no reflection of these fine three people that are sitting before us. I have voiced my opinion in the past that we should not have all three union contracts coming due on 1 year, which is now the case. And my understanding is that we're going to continue that policy. I do not think that we should announce, the commissioners should even announce 40 cents, 20 cents, $5 increases while that negotiating is going on, because it pits us at this moment right now for what has happened. So I will support Representative Cordelli's motion. I applaud the position that, once again, we've asked the commissioners for a number of years to come up with a new insurance policy or practice that would ensure some savings to the Carroll County taxpayers, which this is a proposal, and my understanding from other selectmen in this room is practice that's done in other towns. So timing is everything. I think our timing in this county is horrible. And perhaps we should split his motion
There you go.
so that
Divide the question.
amend the motion to make them two, and then we could vote. Then we would have the opportunity to enjoy a savings and possibly a cost benefit or an increase in pay to our employees.
Okay,
Would you
So-
like to make the amendment?
I would.
And how does that sound?
so it would go, the bottom line figure for the 40-cent increase is $71,349.97. And he is recommending that,
That'd be motion number one.
yeah, that number
Madam Chair, if I
Yes.
might just suggest, just take a vote first, and we can figure it later if we need to.
Okay. All right, and 500 times something else. Okay, So that's where we stand. Providing a $500 bonus based on satisfactory performance and proportionally for part-time.
Correct.
Okay? Sheriff, you have a comment?
I think, I may be wrong, but the amount of money you're saying is $500 is till the end of the year, the budget cycle.
That's correct.
If I'm correct, that is only $608 at 40 cents an hour.
The non-union is January 1st, it's the full year.
But,
It's as of April 1.
right, okay. But they won't give retro, right?
For the non-union,
It's January 1st.
it goes back to January
The
1st.
union is April 1st.
Yeah, your contract runs from April 1st to April 1st.
So non-union goes back to the first.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I agree 100% with Representative Chandler. We're going to have a lot of problems here if some people get this and some people get that.
Thank you
And
very
in the
much.
negotiations, we tried to reduce the cost to the county in insurance to go to 75-25. That didn't fly. They don't want to touch that, 20-80. So we've tried that.
We don't care about the insurance at this point. We're dealing just with the removing of changing it to a $500 bonus, proportional. Okay. So, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, can you clarify what we're voting on?
Okay. We're removing the 40 cent an hour increase. We're providing a $500 bonus for people that have had a satisfactory performance report. And
Or full-time.
and a proportion of the $500 for the part-time based on the hours worked.
Okay. So the benefit piece is not a part of it?
No, that's the part that we asked to divide the question.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was confused.
All right? All those in favor of that portion, please raise your hand. 2. Those opposed? There must be 9.
10.
10. We
You know
have
how you
12.
feel, Representative Chairman, now.
Pardon?
I know how you feel.
Okay. The second,
Join me, Laura.
the second half of the motion that we are now going to take up is providing a stipend, I guess is the right term, of $1,000 to non-union employees who choose not to take the health benefits from the county. Okay, yes.
I think in our previous discussions on that item, and I'd like to offer a friendly amendment, that it would be that those people's spouses are covering them with insurance.
By their spouse.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So I just want to make sure that that's clarified.
Spouses.
Not necessarily spouses, but
Could be a
they'd be
could-
required to have insurance.
Right, before, that's a
It could be
good
a
point.
business provider.
So $1,000, but the employee is required to show you proof of insurance. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Representative Butler.
Thank you. Is there an average for non-union that we are spending for insurance benefit? Is it,
Is there an average?
yeah, is it 1,600,
Can I
please?
just, the people that have insurance, who are paying for it, is because they need to have the insurance. People that don't have the insurance and aren't getting a stipend right now have insurance through their spouse or otherwise. So,
And is there, how much are we paying for those people who we are paying for?
the cost
20%.
for a, An average cost,
Yeah, I'm not,
All I'm saying is
A
that,
family plan costs like $21,000.
okay.
So, and it goes down for two-person or a single. I
And
have
I'm
the
not-
information downstairs.
I'm not going to support this motion simply because I think that if we thought it through better, there might be a way to provide even a better benefit for those people who are not taking it, and especially now that there are exchanges, that there may be a way for that person to get good coverage and still receive a benefit. I think it needs some analysis.
Representative Chandler?
Thank you. I think some thought here, as Representative Butler said, may lead to something. The problem with this is, in this budget, all it's gonna do is increase the budget, because we got people, we're gonna start paying people $1,000 who aren't taking insurance now. We're not, it's not gonna be any, I don't know how many that is, but whatever they are, it's gonna cost us more money. And I'm, as you may know, I'm probably not really in favor of that.
Okay, well, then, all right, can we have a vote on this, please?
Representative Lavender has a point.
Do we have any idea how many people we're talking about and how much money we're talking about?
I think it was,
Kathy, do you know how many are not, on the non-union, are not taking insurance?
I'd have
Well,
to.
ballpark is a dozen.
I would say probably 40 or 50.
Okay, so that's $40,000.
All right, then I agree. Okay,
Speak quickly.
Sure.
Is there any way that the Obamacare thing would fit into this, where the person could get 1,000, for the sake of argument, or whatever, from us, be an Obamacare, and then we have to pay a penalty? I don't know.
okay?
That's why I think the analysis is.
Yeah, I think we need to look at that a little, I agree with you. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand.
this is the amended.
Yes.
The amendment.
Yeah. All those opposed? Okay, thank you very much. So we will put on our agenda for after this lovely tax thing, the looking at insurance for non-union people, or not insurance, but stipend or something, okay? All right. So, Representative Chandler, you had some, oh, Kathy, why don't you, yes, please, why don't you do that? Okay, several weeks ago, you received, and we'll just kind of wait on that. Several weeks ago, you received the Hales location budget. And we are, yeah, oh.
That's a good point. Sign-in sheet, did it come around at all?
No, it didn't.
Did we, I haven't seen a
I
sign-in sheet.
didn't get it, no.
Has the sign-in sheet started to go around? Anybody have it?
You haven't seen it?
It hasn't.
Will motion be in order to give out checks?
Okay. Okay,
We'll have them.
Madam Chairman, are there changes to the budget that was presented, the proposed budget from last time, from Hales location?
no.
May I see the amount requested, so I can make a motion?
Second it.
My understanding is if this is a pass-through budget, that the.
No, we're the legislative body.
We're the legislative body.
Thank you. This is not a
Hales,
pass-through, this
they,
is a legislative
I
body.
apologize for my
Thank
poor
you.
choice of words. First time this morning. And that the commissioners, in effect, are selectmen for this location. I move $341,063.
Do I have a second for the bottom line of the Hales location budget?
I'll second it.
Representative Merrill.
Is that the portion it's in yellow?
Yes.
And we're not looking at the bottom line, right? I don't have a copy right in front of me.
It is a bottom line.
For the guy that's the
Well, no, it
selectman of this organization, I find that amazing.
It doesn't take.
341,603, right? Okay, thank you.
question by Representative Crawford.
Yes, Representative Crawford.
Did we not have a question about tuition, and we thought that that was rather high? Someone was gonna look into it?
Yes.
I did. She's got it. I gave that to you, Madam
Yes,
Chairman.
you did. It's here. They looked into it, and at this point in time, the Hales location people are not anxious to change where the kids go to school.
And I know
Hmm?
Representative Babson had asked, and I asked the question, and the answer I got back was the department head had no idea, they had never told anyone that kids couldn't go there, so,
No, that's not it.
but I don't know, that's the answer I got.
Oh, to go to Freiburg, that question?
Yeah.
Can I,
Yes, Representative White?
I'm vice chair of the Conway School Board, so I got information, I'm sorry, I pulled the wrong folder today, but I will send it to everybody on how they do the calculations for the tuition. And it was part of the contract was signed, and it's gone according to that. But I know you gave the figure of 50,000, and I have the
That's not
actual, right, it's 34,000, which is comparable to some other towns, but what I'm going to do is I'll send it out to everyone so you can see how that, because it is complicated and it does sound kind of outrageous when you look at it, but that's exactly what, you know, it was done, I wanted to make sure that you weren't seeing a huge spike for no reason, but it's done according to contract.
Okay. There are other, Representative Cordelli?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There had been some question, I had heard previously about this, being on the Education Committee, I talked to the Commissioner about it, and if Hart's location would like to...
Not Hart's.
I'm sorry,
Hales.
Hales, right. Or really any district would like to change and transition to, such as Freiburg Academy, if they voted to do that, and it was approved by the commissioners, then they would just have to let the Department of Education know, and there would be no problem. Yeah, but that would be the process.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so,
Representative, what's his name, Babson, Commissioner Babson.
Commissioner Babson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Representative Chandler, I think we can find downstairs a letter that says you can't go to Freiburg.
Yeah,
There
and
was one somewhere,
I wish you could reproduce it, we could ask if that
Okay.
person's still there, because I think I got the same answer that Representative Cordelli got, that they didn't know, and it's perfectly acceptable to do. I don't know if they have a contract with Conway for so many years now, that's another issue.
That's
Right.
another issue.
But at some point, when that's done, they can go there if they want to.
And being from Hart's location, where we send a couple of our kids to Freiburg, I know that it's possible, and I know that we have talked about that with Hales location in the past, so.
Hales location is aware that they can send their children to Freiburg if that's what they choose. However, the two children, they have 3 children in middle school, and they have 2 children in high school. And the 2 children in high school have no desire to transfer to Freiburg. The 3 children in middle school, I have no idea what they're going to do when they grow up. But they, when they get to be 9th graders.
Well, I see, that's.
And it's a long winter, so there might be more.
Would you consider the demographic of Hales location, please?
See, he doesn't run in Hales, so he has no idea. Representative Sorensen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just got promoted too.
Commissioner.
The president of the association over there went to Freiburg Academy. They will take the kids from Hales location. The problem is we have a 3-year contract with Conway, and we have to notify them 3 years in advance to take the kids out. We do not, as a Hales location, they do not put into any capital improvements in the Conway School District. That's why the rate, one of the reasons why the rate is so high.
Okay.
So I think it's a dead issue right now.
So do I. So all those in favor of the Hales location budget, and we want you to send that to us,
Yep.
okay? Of $341,063, please raise your hand. Opposed?
And that
Okay.
was moved and seconded by,
Moved by Mark and seconded by Tom.
Chandler.
thank you.
Tom, doesn't matter. Okay. Commissioner Kenny had asked about us paying our minute taker $200 per year plus mileage for meetings. And per
200
meeting.
per meeting.
Yeah, 200 per meeting and mileage to come to the meeting. And she made the comment that she did not remember that having been approved. And so on April 16th, 2012, that motion was made and unanimously supported. So there is, that was in the delegation minutes of that date. So there is no comment or question about that. So just so that, that everyone knows that.
Can I just,
How
I know that the, pardon?
How does that equate to what was budgeted?
It's equal to what was budgeted.
Equals what was budgeted.
On the cell phone policy, I know the commissioners are working on a cell phone policy, and I assume that we'll see that sometime later on. Okay, Ed agreed to check with Primex about insurance for,
The 91A issue that
Right.
we're facing with this current court case. And I did so, talked with one of the vice presidents of Primex, and basically what they said was they're very willing to cover this kind of issue, but that that is going to incur a cost. That the concern that they have is that most of what they cover in terms of liability is to pay for cost to someone who is injured, not to pay for legal costs as this coverage would require. And that although this issue is on the county level, the concern for the risk pool is that on the municipal and town level, the likelihood of challenges on 91A issues is much more significant. And so therefore, they believe, and they, I understand, are doing the research necessary, believe that it would increase costs not insignificantly. And so those of us who are paying those costs would have to agree to it. So it's not that they're unwilling, it's that it hasn't been presented before, they haven't priced it, and it could become a part of a future contract, but is not now. So the responsibility falls to us, and because of the legislation that was passed a few years ago, to the commissioners individually, if there is a negative, if they lose the case at the court level.
Didn't you tell me that the county association was going to look into it?
Yes, and I thought I indicated that it was being looked into, and so Primex is looking into it, but the county association has already mandated that they pursue that. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, I haven't heard that, but they're looking into, putting together a subcommittee to look into it. I would say at this point in time that suit has cost the town, the county taxpayers $10,000 at this point.
Thank you. Okay. Representative Cordell?
Just to be sure, the budget that we have before us includes $2,000 for legal fees for the
2,100.
three commissioners, $2,100 for the three commissioners.
Yep. Okay.
1,100 has been spent already.
I would like to take a break
Oh, can I?
for,
Just wait for final numbers.
yep, we're waiting on final numbers for 5 minutes or so. And come back and look at the final numbers. I think I'd like to get this done today so we don't have to drive back on Monday.
Do we want to look at the nursing home annex issue?
I'd like a break.
Good. I love breaks.
Please.
We're gonna still have our quorum because we lost a couple people.
No,
Dean's gonna leave.
no, he's still here. He left his glasses.
I just had no luck in the minutes.
Okay.
Except he has the recommendation.
Okay. Kathy, where did I write that? Okay. With all of the things that we have come to conclusions on today, we have a budget of $15,669,349.
Would you
Just
repeat
one more
that
time?
figure, please, Madam Chairman?
Sure. 15 million.
You say 50 or 50?
If it said 50, I would leave.
I was just about to, because it sounded like what you said.
It sounded that way.
15 million.
What line is this?
This is the 100 fund.
This is on page 21. It's $15,669,349. Could I have a motion to accept this number?
So moved.
Representative Crawford, Representative Lavender, seconds. Discussion.
I'd feel a lot better if we could just even cut $1 off of it, make it feel better. That's not letting go.
Well, we are down from
Catch up right now.
from what the commissioners recommended, at least, a few dollars. Okay, is there any discussion other than making that 348?
This is expenses on the edit.
Could I have that one, that number once again? 15 million what?
669
Looking for mine.
349.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. I have no further discussion. I'd like to take a vote if I could. And this budget is up 0.6% from last year. Is that right? Wait,
That's
oh,
the total budget. is
right.
up.
Oh, that's the total budget, excluding the nurse, this, okay. All right, so, all those in favor of $15,669,349, please, let's have a roll call.
Of course. Representative Aldrin.
Yes.
Representative Butler, yes. Representative Chandler.
No.
Representative Cordelli.
No.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Representative Lavender.
Yes.
Representative McConkey.
No.
Representative Marrow.
Yes.
Representative Nelson.
Yes.
Representative Ticehurst.
Yes.
Representative Umberger.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Representative Wright left me as proxy.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in favor and 3 against.
Okay, thank you. On the revenue side, this is for the general fund we're talking about only. On the revenue side, it is now well, I guess we can't do that right yet. We,
Is the number growing?
well, that's assuming the $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Okay, on the expenditure side for the enterprise fund, we have $12,244,249. Could I have a motion to accept that figure?
So moved.
Representative McConkey, a second?
Second.
Representative Lavender. All those in favor?
If you want to roll call. And the number again is?
$12,244,249.
Thank you. Representative Algren.
Yes.
Representative Butler, yes. Representative Chandler.
No.
Representative Cordelli.
No.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Representative Lavender.
Yes.
Representative McConkey.
No.
Representative Marrow.
Yes.
Representative Nelson.
Yes.
Representative Ticehurst.
Yes.
Representative Umberger.
Yes.
Again, 8 to 3.
Okay. And the bottom line on the expenditures, which includes both the general fund and the enterprise fund, the number is $913,598.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. And this total now is the point
.6.
Could you just repeat those figures?
Sure. $27,913,598. Okay. That's for the combined general fund and enterprise fund.
Representative Algren.
Yes.
Representative Butler, yes. Representative Chandler.
No.
Representative Cordelli.
No.
Representative Crawford.
Yes.
Representative Lavender.
Yes.
Representative McConkey.
No.
Representative Marrow.
Yes.
Representative Nelson.
Yes.
Representative Ticehurst.
Yes.
Representative Umberger.
Yes.
Again, 8 to 3.
On the revenue sheet, Representative Chandler, did you have a motion that you wanted to make in regards to how much the county was putting into the surplus?
No.
No.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I want to make sure that we had that discussion on farm equipment that was going to be sold, that farm equipment, after it was sold, that those monies went into the capital reserve and not the general fund. Do I have to make a motion, or is this the appropriate time, or is that at the end?
You can make that motion.
I'd like to make that motion.
I think it needs,
Go ahead, Representative Chandler.
I'm fine with supporting that motion, but I'm not so sure you don't have to have a public hearing to establish a capital reserve.
No, we have a
We have
capital
one.
reserve fund.
We do have one.
Yes.
Just doesn't have anything in it.
Just doesn't have
There
anything.
hasn't been one established?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
So there must have been one at some point.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's what I keep
Which
saying.
was,
We
you know,
have
which-
them, I know we have them.
Yeah, which I heard there hasn't been, so.
Representative Lavender?
Do we not have to have a revenue amount to go along?
No, we are just recommending that the commissioners put that money from the sale of equipment into the capital reserve fund as opposed to the surplus.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
We roll
Raise your
call?
hand.
Okay.
No, we don't need a roll call. Okay, unanimous. Okay,
Do we know when they'll sell those seats?
okay, we'll look at that in the first quarter. Okay, the amount to be raised by taxes is $14,429,920. And this equates to a 5.5% increase in the county taxes.
Madam Chairman, is
Yes.
that prior to knowing what the negotiation is for the final unions, or is that accounting for that?
No, there's nothing in here to deal with the 2 union contracts that have not been approved.
So it is safe to assume that that will be a higher rate?
It's only safe to assume that the other 2 unions may or may not come to grips with a contract.
Representative Tyson?
Representative Tracy?
Just so I can make sure I'm accurate, would you please repeat the amount to be raised by taxes and the percent increase?
Sure. $14,429,920, and that's a 5.5% increase in taxes.
And,
Go ahead.
may I follow up? So this is assuming that how much is going to be taken from surplus?
$1 million.
$1 million.
That's-
That has the
It's
million.
not.
That has the million in it, because there was no comments to change it. Representative Algren?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Since we, now have the number for the income from taxes, I wonder if it would be appropriate to amend the motion to maybe enhance the revenue from surplus to reduce taxes.
It would be in order?
Okay. Well, when I look at the sheet, I see that we have, gosh, I've had so many sheets, so I'm going to go a little bit from memory. But one of the sheets said we had basically $3,095,000.
$2,095,000.
There you go, $2,095,000 in prior year surplus. So to me, if we're trying to hit this target of $2 million in the surplus, it would seem that we would have $95,000 more dollars that we could put toward reducing taxes and still maintain a $2 million surplus. But in addition to that, this surplus money, we also have the leftover bond money that was unspent from the nursing home, which is about 1.2 something million?
1.1.
Well, no, from the bond from the nursing home?
Yep, unspent
is
nursing home.
one- Yeah, the $1,027,750.
So it's 1 million, so there's another $1 million that we have that, that we're hoping to use for the renovation of the core of the nursing home, but we still have the money in case of an emergency, that's cash, which is the purpose of the surplus. So I think that it would be, I don't believe that we will we've had a meeting in the nursing home about the annex. It certainly doesn't seem in the short term that we're going to need that whole $1 million. We're probably only going to need about 700,000 of it, so there's a little, at least in the near future, depending on what goes on with all the stuff that we don't know about. But it just seems prudent that with this 95,000, and we still maintain the $2 million surplus, that extra 95,000 would probably get our tax rate just below the 5% mark, so it'd be 4-point-something% increase. So that might be a little nicer to the taxpayer, at least as far as, feeling the number being below 5% as opposed to above 5%. Might make it feel a little better, and it seems like we have it. It seems like it's there. So that's why I would move to increase that line to $1,095,000.
So moved, or second?
If I could just comment, the bond money is kind of separate, right? We can't spend it for normal operation of the county. But the interest from that, right, we can spend however we want.
Right.
So there is some interest out there, but not the full $1 million. Okay.
I think Representative Cordelli.
Representative Crawford, did you have a question before?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Representative Cordelli?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on what I recall hearing in the House this week from the treasurer in regard to the state budget, they recommended a reserve rainy day fund of 5%. If we apply the same to the county, I think that would be, based on a roughly $28 million budget, having $1.4 million in remaining surplus. So I think that we could even go further possibly than the suggestion by Representative Algren for an additional $95,000 to be taken from surplus.
Is that a motion?
Not yet. I would hope there would be some discussion on that.
Representative Butler and then Chandler?
Thank you. I know that we have done this regularly with each budget, and my concern in paring it back beyond the $2 million is that we don't know what surplus we might have at the end of next year. And I would hope that we would be able to have a certain amount of money to continue to reduce the impact on taxes, no matter what the budget becomes in the next budget year.
Representative Chandler?
Yes, thank you. I just think we need to be careful. Unfortunately, over the last at least 3 budgets that we've had, which have had double-digit increases in them, we've used large amounts of surplus to negate the effect on the taxpayer. Well, that's well and good, but the problem is the taxpayer hasn't figured out yet what's going on, in my opinion. And I just think I would like to see, I almost want to vote against using any surplus, so the tax bills that go out show a 12 or 14% increase, and maybe that'll get a little enthusiasm for doing a little sharper job on the budget here. But I guess I say that, and then I hate to do it because I hate to see the taxpayer have to pay it. But I think pretty soon we got to realize that, one, using these surpluses is going to stop, and we should keep a healthy surplus. And we need to focus on budget amounts that are reasonable without using $1 million surpluses. So thank you.
Representative Merrill?
I would agree. Maybe I could agree with the 95,000, bring it down to 2, but I certainly couldn't agree at any less than that. That 5% figure is the minimum figure that's recommended. Because at least, I assume it applies to everything. We went over this for the town several times, and they said between 5 and 10, and they'd like it on the higher side. And I think and we have a lot of unknowns in this surplus. We're supposing that all these things are going to happen, so I wouldn't be in favor of putting in any more than the 95,000. I'm a little reluctant to do that, but I decide that.
Representative Cordelli?
Thank you. That's why I didn't make that in the form of a motion. And I would just like to point out, following on to Representative Chandler's comments, we still have a real spending increase situation. Last year, between from actual to budget last year, it was a $1.2 million increase. This year still, it's over $950,000 from last year's actual to this year's proposed budget. So I still believe we have a spending issue that we have to tackle, and that sooner or later, it's going to come to catch up to us, and it's, that day appears much closer on the horizon.
Thank you. Representative Aldrin, did you have a?
He moved that and
Right, I thought he had
Representative
it.
Conkey seconded.
But I thought he had a question or a comment.
Well, there's a couple things I'd like to
Okay.
talk about. Is that the amount of money that we've been spending over the past few years has been relatively flat of the money we actually spend, since that's the number that, you know, sometimes we hear bantied about, well, what are we actually spending? So that number actually went down in 2012 to 2015. We've actually spent less. What caused the increase in the budget was the new building of the nursing home. When we built that building, it raised our expenditures by 17%. That's what it did. But in past years, we've had additional money beyond the approximate $1 million in surplus that we get, as Representative Cordelli just mentioned. This previous year, there was about a differential of about $1 million. That's what we're putting back in. But then we would put in about another $1 million. Okay, one year we used leftover bond money from the nursing home. We put in $1.175 million. If you look on your revenue worksheet, page 3 of your revenue sheet today, okay, you can see that in 2012, $1,175,000 proceed from bond to help lower taxes. The year before, $500,000 proceed of bond to help lower taxes. 2011, we had $2,500 in surplus to reduce taxes because we had quite a bit of interest income from the $23 million we had sitting in the bank, so we had a windfall revenue, okay? Our expenditures went up when we started spending $2 million a year to pay for the nursing home. The nursing home costs $2 million a year. That's what it cost. But the tax rate has not significantly gone up. That's 17% since we started paying for the nursing home, that $2 million. That's why we're having this budget situation now. It's not because of other general fund dollars have been going out of control. We had a $2 million additional expenditure. And now we don't have an extra $1 million to throw into the tax rate to help reduce it. I mean, that's what caused it. It's, you know, we've been done everything that we could in years past, so to soften the blow to the taxpayers, 3%, 4% at a time. This year it looks like it's going to be just over 5%. But, you know, I will point out to you that on your sheets, so you can, everyone can see it, if you look on page 19, okay, MVNH bond, long-term debt, number 100-9160.099, $1,175,000. Interest expense, this is that's every year. You can see that number runs all the way across. So there's an extra $1 million a year, which is about 12% of our $13 million. And then if you look up above there under interest expense, it's 9100.099. You can see in 2011 the interest expense was $829,000. You add $829,000 and 1.175, and you get $2 million. And you add those two numbers together, that's where I'm getting this $2 million. That's where the big expenditure increase came from. It's not come from 40 cents an hour and this and that. You know, that's what it is. You know, it's not because of something we did wrong this year. It's we've got that capital expenditure. We're paying for it.
It hasn't increased for 5 years, but everything else is. That number stayed the same. Move the question, how's that?
If you look at the budget from last year to this year and the total amount that was budget expenditure, it's only gone up 0.6%.
You made a
We
statement
just
a
said
minute
that.
ago that actual expenditures are down. They've gone up every year. Actual expenditures are up every single year. And you
Okay.
said they've gone down. Well, that's not accurate.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to add $95,000 to the $1 million in what we provide in surplus to reduce taxes.
Can I just make it using the
Yeah,
$1,995,000 to reduce
certainly
taxes? Great.
So would you do a roll call, please?
I would. Representative Algren?
Yes.
Representative Butler, yes. Representative Chandler?
No.
Representative Cordelli?
Yes.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Representative Lavender?
No.
Representative McConkey?
Yes.
Representative Marrow?
No.
Representative Nelson?
Yes.
Representative Ticehurst?
Yes.
Representative Umberger?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It passes 7-4.
Okay, so Kathy, what do I need to change
The
on
amount to be raised by taxes,
pardon?
the 14,429,920 needs to be reduced by 95,000.
So that's 334 then, right?
Yeah.
14,334.
Okay, so the new number to be raised by taxes is $14,334,920.
And what's that do to the tax rate?
Could I have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Representative Marrow moves and Representative McConkey seconds. It'll drop the tax rate a little bit, but I can't calculate that in my head. So, and that's not something we have to vote on.
No, I'm just curious.
So, could I,
Too much.
could I have a motion on the 14,000,000?
You do.
Oh, I do, okay.
From Marrow and McConkey.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, would you, is there any further discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
I will. Representative Algren?
Yes.
Representative Butler, yes. Representative Chandler?
No.
Representative Cordelli?
No.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Representative Lavender?
Yes.
Representative McConkey?
No.
Representative Marrow?
Yes.
Representative Nelson?
Yes.
Representative Ticehurst?
Yes.
Representative Umberger?
No.
Again, 7-4.
Okay. I think I have one last number, is that correct? And that is the overall revenue I guess I don't, do we need a vote on the overall revenue?
We voted on them all anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay. And, yes, and we voted on the nursing home revenue already. Okay. So, bottom line, expenditure, did we do that one? Yes, okay. All right. Okay, Ed, you and I need to stay in for your papers.
Yes.
Yeah. Could I have a motion to?
So moved to go into convention.
All right, do I have a
Second.
second? All right.
I'll move it all the votes we took in executive session to ratify the convention.
Second.
This is on the budget.
Yeah, the budget revenues, whatever.
Okay, well, yeah, but we had some other things like Hale's location and.
Oh, I don't care about those things. All of them, yeah, that's fine, throw them in there. That's all right.
Okay.
Throw them in there too, that's fine.
All right, so the motion is to approve in convention all of the motions that we had approved in executive session.
All motions made, yeah.
Yeah, oh, she said no, I said no. Haha, now we gotta vote against sales location, I don't want to do that. All right, never mind, I'll vote against. That's all right.
And you're voting against the minutes, too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break this up into two.
No, that's fine, don't worry about it.
Okay. All those in favor, we'll have a roll call.
We will,
Oh, wait, did I? Yeah, I got a second for that.
yep.
Okay.
Representative Algren? All-
Yes.
Representative Butler, yes. Representative Chandler? Representative Cordelli?
No.
Representative Crawford?
Yes.
Representative Lavender?
Yes.
Representative McConkey?
No.
Representative Marrow?
Yes.
Representative Nelson?
Yes.
Representative Ticehurst?
Yes.
Representative Umberger?
Yes. Okay.
That
That's
motion,
8-2, I believe.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
That motion was to
8-3,
ratify the
8-3.
votes made in executive session. So if you voted yes, it's still a yes. And if you voted, if we as a group voted yes, it's still a yes. If we as a group voted no, it's still a no.
It doesn't change anything that
Right.
occurred in executive session. It just ratifies all of these. Okay. You want to move to real? Okay. Could I have a motion to come out of convention, please?
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're out of convention. I would just like to ask Kathy when the first quarter financials will be completed?
Well, actually, I just want to say probably, because you've just passed the budget, so we've got to roll it, and we've got to make all the appropriate entries, but you do need to meet before June anyways, so you need to meet in May to set the salaries for the elected officials. So if we could say mid-May.
Well, when do we sign up to run?
June, the 1st of June.
The first?
Yeah, we have to set the salaries before.
Right,
that.
but don't we have to set the salaries,
Before June 1st.
is it just one day before?
Well, no, a couple, middle of May, so that's 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right. Middle of May or something.
So if you want to do mid-May, because that would do cover the first quarter and set the salaries, it's up to you.
Okay, so we'll look at sometime in May, when Kathy tells me she's ready to do the first quarter for our next meeting.
Sure gonna miss you.
All right,
And you don't need to do the annex on
no,
that?
we will do that at our May meeting,
Good.
okay?
Good.
All right, is there any public input, please?
I have one more request.
Yes?
Yes, the pay of the minute taker, you said it was taken in 2012, the vote, that was by the previous delegation. I don't think the new member should be a rubber stamp.
Well,
And I request if a new vote be taken.
I appreciate that, but that's the salary that was set, and.
In 2012 by
and none-
previous
Excuse
delegation.
me, and the delegation has already approved the budget for that line, and so they have ratified the salary and the mileage. And if I were the commissioners, I would do the same thing, but I'm not the commissioner, so. Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'm just sending around something about the veterans transitional housing that they're working on for the nursing home, so you can get a little bit of an update, see what they're working on. If you have any questions, ask Commissioner Solomon would be a good resource.
Okay, yes. Melissa?
In towns, they typically do the surplus for emergency purposes, such as if there's a natural disaster and they need matching FEMA funds. What is a disaster at the county?
I believe that
Please
that's.
don't say what's happening.
I would venture to say that that is a question that should be asked at a commissioners meeting.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
Because they're the ones that would declare a disaster. Did you have another question?
I haven't seen one yet.
Okay, maybe I should have ended with that question, now I'm off track. Okay, in the future, I was wondering, this may be a commissioner's thing as well, if we could perhaps save some trees that could be then turned into firewood, I suppose, by printing the budgets double-sided. So there's an awful lot of paper this season,
I believe
as
that,
there has been every season.
I believe that that is also a commissioner's.
Okay.
Printed and copied on both sides?
Yeah, printed and copied on
You
both
know,
sides.
like, and available, yeah, okay. And then, again, the common thread that seemed to go throughout this season was, we kept hearing the word plan. About 13 months ago, an idea was presented at a commissioners meeting for the formation of a capital improvement committee. And there were at that time 9 leaders in the community, including selectmen and past state officials and county officials who had volunteered to serve on that committee, but I think it was just put in a drawer. So I just wanted to make you aware, if you had forgotten, because I think I at that time shared that information with the entire delegation, that there are people in the community willing and interested and who care. And you don't have to jack up their tax rate to get them to care, because they're already on board. They're just looking for opportunity, and it would be at no cost. Well, of course, there'd be copies. There would be no professional consulting fees or any of that. And also, I would ask that perhaps it be considered, and I'm just saying this publicly again, it may be a commissioner's thing, that we use the resources available to us at the colleges in our communities. There are people who are desperate for capstone projects, graduate papers, who could then perhaps prepare a comprehensive salary and benefits study for the county that would include the impact of the Affordable Care Act, and we would stop putting out these little fires and having these arguments and conversations on both of those plans. And that might also work for the farm. There are many people studying agriculture right now at a business level.
Sure. That
would be interested, so, thank you.
Mr. Steer.
Thank you. It's a long budget process the last couple of days. But I just wondered if you could just kind of hit the highlights. My understanding is the major difference between what the commissioner proposed and what you guys decided on was the additional surplus money. And there were some other changes, I think one of the largest being not hiring an extra jail person. I don't know if I'm missing something or my memory's failing. And there's also new plans for additional revenue for the nursing home. Were those kind of the major highlights of the budget?
I would say that those were the major cost items. There are other minor things, but
We did cut $400,000
we did,
from the commission.
yeah, we did cut. I was looking for the number here.
We cut $400,000 from the commission's budget that was presented to us as far as expenditure appropriations. That you can find on page 21 of the worksheet. When the commissioners presented a budget of $16,061,000, and the actuals are $15,669,000. So we did, through the process of the subcommittees, cut that much from the general fund budget. And then you go to, if you wish to go to the nursing home budget, we cut we cut $700 from the commissioner's budget.
And that was during the subcommittee process?
That's correct.
Okay. But from the process of, the last 2 days, it seems like the major action was the surplus.
Those other items had been discussed at other meetings, Damon.
Okay.
Okay, and if you would, the minutes are available to do that. But yes, in the last 2 days, that's probably what we have done. Are there any further public comments? Yes, Mr. Brown?
Yes, was there any explanation ever received on the $4.2 million DEAS line?
No.
We don't know what $4.2 million is.
That's exactly correct.
We won't know until we don't pay it.
And we are, I mean, we know that it's money to go for the people that are 65 years or older, okay? But how it's broken down and how it's computed, we have not found that out totally yet. And we are pursuing, trying to find some information from DHHS. Representative Tyson?
I might try to clarify at the risk of making it less clear, but there's a cap on how much counties pay, and the part that shows up in our budget is our share of that capped amount that all of the counties pay together. So we do know what it's going to, but we are looking for more solid clarification about exactly how our share is computed.
Okay, were there,
I'd just like to say something as a citizen, because I am a taxpayer here in Carroll County. I'm also a veteran, and I know there's a lot of veterans at this table, and I think we all served our time to have a democracy that we have here, and that you guys are elected to be our leaders in our community to show different things. And I just want to say that I'm very disappointed with the vote that you guys did with your recommendation about the pigs today. I may be choosing to get out of the pigs, but you guys told young people like myself today that are trying to make a difference in our community that you don't want to see those differences and you don't want to see those. So we have a young people problem coming up in our county. It's getting aged, and it's just saddening to see that you would send that message to the other people that are trying to make a difference, that other people that do volunteer things in our community with the cooperative extension and other things and such. So I just wanted to say that I think that's a sad move that you send that message to young people about stuff when you don't even talk to the people that are doing it. You take a skewed view from one or two individuals and do that instead of giving the time to talk to people that are trying to make a difference. I know no one wants to comment on it, but I just wanted to make that noted.
thank you very much, appreciate it. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none?
I'd like to make one last comment that I think the subcommittees, and some of them in particular, did an excellent job. I sure would like to see the subcommittees start earlier. They could start anytime after the 1st of December rather than waiting till today to finalize the budget.
Commissioner Sorensen, you and I are of the same opinion. However, it would appear that our subcommittees just continue to have issues. And so that's why we're always seem to be at the tail end of the time frame to come to grips with the budget. And I mean, it's not because they don't try, and it's not because they don't have multiple meetings, but it is something that we're not necessarily happy about, I can guarantee it. So, with that, I will adjourn. Thank you. Okay. He's not a member of the public.
I'm not either.
Mr. Babson, as a member of the public, you may speak.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, you're discussing the budget process. Doesn't work well. One of the things that we could do, as Representative Ticehurst has said, we could all meet together and then go our own way and make the budget. We don't need to have the outside people come in 5 or 6 or 7 times. Mostly my comments are addressed, why don't we look at changing the fiscal year to July 1st, when the crunch is off, or somewhat off, in the legislature? It's in the law that we can do it, and it will be up to you folks. Do I have to stand back here and listen?
That's certainly an option. I don't agree with that option, but that doesn't mean anything. The other people can have thoughts. No,
I'd just
Harry?
like to wish Mr. Babson a happy birthday.
Oh, is today his birthday?
Happy birthday.
Well,
60 again.
happy birthday. I'm sorry that I didn't know that.
Now he's older than I am.
Oh, good. And is that because today is also your birthday?
No, mine was a week or so ago.
And we can send David home with a new scone.
Yeah. All right, could I have a motion, are there any more public comments? Seeing none, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, seconded by Representative Lavender. Is there anyone that objects to going home?
What's that?
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.